We're going to continue our county commission meeting for the afternoon public hearings, but before we do, I would like everyone, if you would stand, let's rise. We lost a commissioner, Pat Mallory, just had passed away, and I should have recognized it this morning, but let's have a moment of silence for her if we could. Okay, thank you. So public hearings, the first item we have is P74. Madam Clerk, we have proof.
We do, yes, sir. Stand by. P74 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on June 7, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item P74 is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a text amendment and table revisions for the villages of Pasadena Hills, the OPH Comprehensive Plan Goal Flu 6, allow increase of land area in village cores of villages B and C, increase maximum residential conversions, and add conditions to transfer unused densities to village cores, and providing for additional text amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for repeal of severability and effective date. And this is a request for a continuance to the November 14, 2023 Florida County Commissioners meeting here in Dade City at 1:30.
May I have a motion to continue P74?
That's the one that's the villages of Pasadena Hills, or whatever?
That's the consequence.
Oh, is this the one where I want to talk about it?
It's shown as continuance.
I know, but I want to talk about it. Can I
If you
just
want to
show
talk
you?
about the rezone, which would actually have the site plan attached to it,
Yes. So
that's later on in the agenda.
okay, we'll wait.
So this on
So
74?
I do have a motion.
So move.
And a second. Call the roll.
District 1 Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2 Commissioner Waitman. Aye. District 3 Commissioner Starkey. Aye. District 4 Commissioner Bradford. District 5 Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Item P75, do we have proof?
Yes, sir. Published in the Tampa Bay Times on July 19, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item B75 is PDD 240007, and it is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a comprehensive plan amendment, amending future land use map 2-15 and sheet 12 from PD plan development to conservation lands on approximately 1,517.89 acres of real property located south of State Road 52, north of State Road 54, east of the Suncoast Parkway, and west of a CSX rail corridor in Land O'Lakes, and a map amendment to the future land use map 2-9, amending sub-area map 2-943, Project Arthur, and a map amendment to the conservation map 3-4, amending the North Pasco to Crossbar Critical Ecological Corridor and the North Pasco to Connerton Ecological Corridor, and providing for additional text amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for repeal or severability and an effective date. This comes to you with a recommendation for
Recommendation of what?
adoption.
Okay. Commissioner Starkey?
Hey, Terry. And I was texting back and forth with some of the folks from Angeline and Keith Wiley, who is out at a parks conference. But I just want to be sure that anything that we're doing in here doesn't preclude us from putting any trails along the edges or through it, because that's important to connect the parks area, the park in Angeline to the area to the south, and to get some movement east-west. And we never have done our show and tell of our trip to Bentonville, but we want to have some trails along the edges of these, so I just want to make sure this doesn't preclude it.
Not to my knowledge that this would preclude it. This is just a comprehensive plan amendment to establish the eco corridors. My understanding is that there is capability to bring some of that passive recreation to access portions of those eco corridors.
Then I would be in support. I just don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay. Is that all, Terry?
We have a presentation if the board wants it.
Okay.
Board want a presentation? Okay.
Yes?
Sure. Planners Day, we got to present, right?
Yes. Good afternoon, Brian Junker, Long Range Planning. The project is PDD 240007, CPA 2107, Project Arthur Eco Corridor Boundary Modification and Future Land Use Change. The order was read into record. The subject project is located in the South Market and North Market area. The proposal is a comprehensive plan, and the future land change is going to go from plan development to conservation land. The purpose is to amend the future land use from PD, plan development, to conservation land on approximately 1,517.89 acres, and a boundary update to implement PRN 20-0017 agreement for sale and purchase. Project Arthur Ecological Corridor as approved on November 19, 2019. The location of the project is south of State Road 52, north State Road 54, east of Suncoast Parkway, and west of a CSX rail corridor in Llano Lakes. Here is the site location and our aerial view. And here we got a context map, basically some of the stuff that we got around the ecological corridor. Here is the existing future land use as it is right now, is still under plan development. Here is the proposed future land use, proposing it to amend it to conservation land. Current zoning is MPUD. The proposed amendment is consistent with the following comprehensive plan policies. You got Policy Con 1.2.2H, Policy Con 1.2.1, Policy Con 1.1.3, and Policy Con 1.2.5. And the recommendation is find the proposed amendment consistent with a comprehensive plan and adopt by a roll call vote.
Thank you. Any more questions for staff? Looks like great place to conserve. Anyone from the public like to speak to this item?
There was no one signed up.
I do have one person. Nancy, come on forward. Just your name and address for the record, please.
Nancy Hayeswood, 34110, a nice place. I have not been sworn.
Don't need to
Don't
do
need
it.
it.
Legislative amendment.
Okay. What a wonderful thing. I applaud you all for this and the staff for working so hard, and of course the ELAM. I'd love to see that in District 1. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone from the public like to speak? We'll close public comment here. Is anybody on WebEx?
There is no one.
Okay. We have another person. Come on up.
Hi,
Just your name and address for the record.
Renee Melanson. We just
Your address?
we don't have an address. We just have a description.
Okay.
It's right by the CX. How, by changing it to conservation, how is it going to affect the private landowners? Like, what will happen to the property that we own now that it's a conservation?
You shouldn't own this property.
Yeah. It's already been
Okay.
purchased.
So I'm a little concerned because they had sent us a note to show up for this because it pertained to the plot of land that we had owned.
Maybe it abuts it?
What?
Maybe it's next to it?
Maybe, could be.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
Just kind of letting you know we're protecting the land.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. We have a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
And roll call vote?
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Motion passes. Item P76.
P76 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on August 27, 2023, and by affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Okay, thank you.
Item P76 is PDD 240008. It's an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map, map 2-15, and sheet 12 from IL Industrial to Com Commercial on approximately 3.69 acres of real property located at the intersection north of Sun Lake Boulevard Extension and State Road 52. This comes to you with a recommendation to adopt the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment.
Okay. The staff, anyone from the commission want a presentation? Okay.
Well, Chair, I just have a question, a couple of questions.
Commissioner Whitman.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Pete, I was reading through the background. I just want to confirm this is, it's a little bit small for Live Local, but we have the deed restrictions on there. And this property, based on the conversations we had earlier today on design of the property drops and car washes and storage facilities that the new rules may comply in this case. So, any comments, concerns, we would.
In terms of the frontage, it would go to, we would be adding land to the Com commercial area, but we would have to develop the land development code amendments, and the board would have to approve them and pass them by ordinance, and then those would be applicable to any future development that would occur on this site.
I have a question.
Mr. Starkey.
We just outlined the types of layout that we'd like to see. Would that affect this at all?
That's the question he just answered
Oh,
for
sorry.
Commissioner Waitman.
I was reading there.
You need to adopt the land development code amendments that staff will be proposing. If they're adopted before this property comes in for development, it would apply to them. Otherwise, it would not.
Okay, so we can't condition.
This is comprehensive plan. This is not rezoning.
You have to educate us everyone.
Okay.
That's why we're not land use attorneys and making the big bucks.
Any other questions for staff? Anyone from the public like to speak to item P76?
There was no one signed up.
No one signed up, no one on WebEx?
Correct.
All right, back to the board, we'll close public comment. To the board.
Move to approve?
Second. Roll call vote.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Motion passes. Item P77.
P77 is advertised in Tampa Bay Times on March 22nd and June 21st, 2023.
Jerry?
Item P77 is PDD 240015. It is an ordinance by the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners amending the Pasco County Land Development Code, Section 604, Northeast Pasco Rural Protection Overlay District, Figure 604-1, Northeast Pasco Rural Protection Overlay District boundary, Figure 604-2, Northeast Pasco Rural Scenic Roadways, Figure 604-4, limits to topographic alterations, and other sections as necessary for internal consistency, providing for applicability, repeal, or severability, inclusion into the Land Development Code, and in effective date. This is the second reading of the second hearing of the Land Development Code amendment, and it comes to you with recommendation for adoption.
Terry, the item that's on the screen right now says P76. Can we get that updated? There you go. There you go. Okay. Any questions for staff? No. Okay. I see the applicant behind you. Applicant to address.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners Clark, Hobby and Hobby, PA 109 North Rush Street, Tampa, Florida. I'll keep this very brief. Remember that last month you all voted to approve the MPUD for Hilltop Vistas, and you approved the companion comprehensive plan amendment. In that plan amendment, you voted to change the same maps that this agenda item is changing, so the comp plan has already been amended. This is just the second hearing on the land development code to change the maps that are in the land development code to make them consistent with it. And the only thing we were doing was taking the Hilltop Vistas property out of it. That was thoroughly discussed last meeting, so. Anyway, I know I think I've got one or two people speaking. I'll be happy to reserve the balance of my time.
Can I ask you a question real quickly?
Commissioner Starkey.
Thank you. What were the changes in the topographic alter? It says you want to get out of the topographic.
No, it's the map. There's 3 or 4 maps that have to change when you come out of Northeast Pasco. That's one of them, but remember, the MPUD, we added a condition in it that has the same language from the comp plan that would have regulated the
That
topographic.
we talked about. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And this is a public hearing item. Is anyone here to speak to item P77?
No one has signed up, but looks like you have someone.
Okay.
Nancy Hayeswood, 34110 in Ice Place. Do I need to be sworn?
No.
No.
Okay. So I know this application was advertised correctly, but the name of the development was not on the agenda. So because of this, there were a few people that did not attend this board meeting. I would like to ask that the board make a requirement that the name of the project is included in the agendas that go before the board. Please. Also, I know I mentioned topography last time, and that's one of the things that's being taken out. Since I live close to St. Jude Road, I went by Summit View this morning, and it appears that they are moving an awful lot of dirt. And it's not much of a hill anymore. And there goes another hill in Dade City. And so from what I'm understanding, that dirt is actually being moved to Murata. And I was wondering about Dade City and Pasco County getting dirt, but that's for another matter, where the taxes form there and anything else with the Dade City, Pasco County interconnection. But I just want to be very sure that this very unhappy hill is not going to have the same thing happen. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak to item P77? Close public comment here. Anybody on WebEx?
There's no one on WebEx.
Okay, to the board.
Move approval.
And just to address it, that's what we just talked about, that they won't be moving Happy Hill to Milano. Second.
Okay, call the roll.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. Aye. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye, motion passes. Item P78, do we approve?
P78 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on July 19, 2023.
Gary?
Item P78 is PDD 240025. It is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a text amendment to the future land use element appendix, a map amendment to the future land use map 2-9, amending subarea map 2-922, gateway hub subarea, and subarea map 2-922A, gateway hub subcategories, and providing for additional text amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date. And this comes to you with a recommendation to adopt the ordinance. If there's a presentation, we can provide one.
Does the board wish for a presentation?
I don't think so. I don't need one.
Okay. All right. Let's get the presentation.
Yeah.
Is there an applicant? No.
I'll wait to see if we have any.
Okay. All right, it's a public hearing. Is anyone here to speak to item P78?
No one is signed up and no one's on WebEx.
Okay, we'll close public comment to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call vote.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5 Chairman Mariano.
Aye, motion passes. Now we go to our public hearings where those who are speaking will be sworn.
Would you like me to read the procedures, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. County Attorney.
There are two rezoning agendas, regular and consent. Staff will present each application to the Board of County Commissioners. If staff or Planning Commission has recommended approval and there is no opposition, the application will be considered by the board without further presentation. If staff or Planning Commission has recommended denial, or if there is opposition to the application, the applicant will be given 5 minutes for presentation. The opposition will be given 3 minutes for each individual or 5 minutes for a group representative, and the applicant will be given 3 minutes for rebuttal. Any individual disagreeing with staff or Planning Commission recommendation or anyone wishing to object to any condition of the rezoning may at this time request the petition be pulled from the consent agenda, in which case that application will be heard under the regular agenda later on during the meeting. Otherwise, all rezoning applications on the consent agenda will be approved by a single motion and vote. If you wish to speak to any petition, please give your name and address and whether or not you've been sworn for the record. These are quasi-judicial public hearings. The law in Florida is that mere public support or opposition of an application is insufficient for this board to take action. Please limit your comments to those criteria found within the board's land development code. Madam Clerk, would you like to swear them in?
Yes, sir. So anyone who plans to speak to the remainder of the agenda, please rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Okay. Item P79.
Yes, sir. P79 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on August 23rd, 2023.
Okay. Denise?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Denise Hernandez, Planning and Development. P79 is PDD 247697, a zoning amendment in the name of Ruben A. and Martha J. Sanchez. The request is to continue the item to the January 9th, 2024 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 in Dade City.
Okay. The motion to continue.
Move to continue.
Second.
Roll call.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Motion passes. Item P80.
Item P80 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on August 23rd, 2023.
P80 is PDD 247679, a zoning amendment in the name of Schrader's 52CC Master Plan Unit Development, Mary Burke and Thomas Schrader. The request is to continue the item to the October 24th, 2023 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 in Newport Richey.
Move to, did you see first?
No?
Move to continue.
Second.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Motion passes. P81.
PD1 was advertised in Tampa Bay Times on August 9th, 2023.
P81 is PDD 247668. It's a zoning amendment in the name of Abbey Crossings, Connected City, MPUD, Master Plan Unit Development, Jeffrey Hust and Margaret Hust. It's for rezoning from AC Agricultural District to an MPUD, Master Plan Unit Development District, to allow the development of 1,000 multifamily units and 800,000 square feet of light industrial, 400,000 square feet of office, and 400,000 square feet of commercial retail on approximately 245.24 acres. Comes to you with a recommendation of approval with conditions as included in your agenda packet from the Planning Commission and the Planning and Development Department. There are ex parte communications on this item from Commissioner Waitman, Commissioner Oakley, and Commissioner Mariano. And I do want to mention that there is your standard condition regarding the Live Local Act, which is your condition number 60 on this MPUD.
Okay. Is anyone in opposition to this item? Leave it on consent.
Chairman,
Commissioner Waitman?
thank you. I'm going to leave this on consent, but I'd like a clarification on the definition of 1,000 multifamily units. I'm not comfortable with the definition of 1,000 multifamily units. If Mr. Hobby might be able to come up and clarify what this means for this particular proposal, I'd be appreciative.
Would you like a full presentation and we can bring it back?
Since I
All right, so let's take this off consent, we'll bring it back and we'll address it after.
Okay.
All right, so P 81 is off consent.
It's not on.
All right, P 82.
Advertising in the Tampa Bay Times on August 2nd, 2023.
P82 is PDD 247723. It's a zoning amendment, the name of Gary Kovac and Janet B. Kovac for a change in zoning from R1 Rural Density Residential District to AR Agricultural Residential District. Comes to you with a recommendation of approval from the Pasadena Hills Planning and Policy Committee and the Planning and Development Department.
Is anyone here to speak in opposition to P 82? We'll leave it on consent. P 83.
Do you want a roll call vote? Or
No,
you don't need
on
it?
consent.
Okay, perfect. P83, advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on August 23rd, 2023.
P83 is PDD 247736, zoning amendment in the name of Martha Dexter for a change in zoning from an AR Agricultural Residential District to an R1MH Single Family Mobile Home District with a voluntarily agreed upon deed restriction, which regulates the front setback and the rear, the side and rear setbacks. Comes to you with a recommendation of approval from the Planning and Development Department and the Planning Commission.
Okay. Is anyone here in opposition to speak to item P 83? Anyone on WebEx?
There's no one signed up.
All right, we'll leave it on consent agenda. That's a consent agenda. Do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second. District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. So we're going to go back to item P 81. We'll do a presentation from staff first, and then we'll hear from the applicant.
Sure, that will be presented by Orlando Boras.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, this is Orlando Borras with Urban Planning. I will be presenting PDD 247668, Abbey Crossing CC and PUD. This is a zoning amendment from C2, ER, and AC to an MPUD, allowing 1,000 multifamily units, 800,000 square feet of light industrial, 800,000 square feet of office, and 800,000 square feet of commercial/retail. And it's located right now south of County Route 52 and the intersection of McHenry Road. As you can see, this is going to be the site location for this property. This is going to be the location map showing exactly where it's located, south of County Road 52. This is going to be the context map, as you can see. The green zoning districts are going to be MPUD, C2, C3, and also light industrial going to the north. And this is going to be the efficient land use, as you can see. It's going to be EC, which stands for Employment Center. You also have ROR, and you're also going to see Res 3 and mixed uses going to the north. The applicant is requesting the following variations from the code. The first one is going to be from the LDC section 522.9 on-site parking. The applicant is requesting to reduce from 2.25, which is going to be the standard by the LDC, to 1.9. Staff is amenable with this variation being requested because it's going to be above the 85th percentile provided by the ITE, which is going to be for transportation engineering and all that type of stuff. For 522.9 neighborhood parks, the applicant is requesting right now to reduce the minimum required for parkings. It's going to be now a minimum of 10% for parks. And Park and Recreation acknowledge the space constraints on this subject property and therefore agrees on providing greater flexibility in the neighborhood park design for multifamily apartment. This is going to be excluding townhomes and also duplexes. The applicant will still have to provide at least 10% of the upland acreage for parks. And the last variation from the code is going to be from 805.6, restrictions on post-development wetlands and upland buffers within residential lots and non-residential parcels. This is going to be basically to let the applicant or the owner to keep and maintain the open areas, since there's not going to be an HOA or CDD. As you can see, this is going to be the master plan, and this comes with the recommendation of approval with conditions from PDD and the Planning Commission.
So to be clear, so there's no HOA, no CDD. On-site parking, what's the number going to?
From 2.25, it's going to be now 1.9. This is going to also let the applicant have more space to have open spaces, and it's also going to promote alternative transportation methods, which is one of the intent of this overlay in Connected City.
I have questions.
Mr. Stark.
And it's kind of coming up. I am very curious about the park space.
So we are basically giving the flexibility to the applicant to comply and meet the minimum requirements in Connected City to provide parks. Basically, they can have more flexibility in terms of the design between the buildings.
Are we going to consider an indoor billiards room a park?
Sorry, what?
Well, I think in some multifamily places, we take some of the indoor space and consider it a place where people gather, that could be used towards park space.
All right, so if we're done with staff, I'll bring the applicant up.
Yes, right.
I know, so any more, Commissioner Oakley, any staff questions?
I just want to make sure
No.
there's.
I know, hang on,
We're
Commissioner
not
Starkey.
stressing our
I know,
parks.
hang on.
We'll hear from Clark, we're fine.
All right, and Commissioner Waitman, Commissioner Bradford, you want to hear from staff, or are we ready to go for the applicant?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Commissioner
Thank you,
Waitman?
Chair. I'm ready to hear Mr. Hobby.
Okay. Mr. Hawk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can answer some of these questions. First of all, with regard to the parks, we're not seeking that kind of relief, Commissioner Starkey. I know that you and I have talked privately about, I think your position is we need to create more active park areas, especially within multifamily complexes. And that's something right now I don't think the code really allows, so that's not relief that we're seeking. All we're trying to say, and staff and the board have supported several times on multifamily apartment projects, that we should be focusing on the acreage of the overall multifamily parcel instead of the unit count. And so that's, you all have approved the same alt standard many, many times over the last few years. I would say also outside of the multifamily area that we're talking about here, we are planning on having, I think we discussed with you, a large walking trail around the lake amenity that's on the site, and that would be in addition to this.
I thought we had a meeting, but when they didn't have me listed as ex parte, I thought, well, maybe
We sent one sometimes.
Yeah,
I don't know where it went.
So we will chat if I get turned in.
We did. This is the one that Ken Moran was here with Brian Sykes that we spoke about, and then potentially even doing condominiums on the site. But I think Commissioner Waitman had another issue that I wanted to address for the board's benefit. While the staff report references 1,000 multifamily units, that is not what's going to be built on this site. And I think it's important on this site that the board know how this works. The existing future land use on this site is employment center, and it only allows essentially multifamily, meaning apartments or condominiums. That's all employment center has ever allowed for the residential portion. By opting into Connected City, we're following what Connected City calls multifamily, which includes townhouses and duplexes. And so what our client, we're actually under contract right now, not with an apartment builder, but with a townhouse developer. So there'll be platted townhouses on there for sure. That's what we're under contract to do on the southern end of the site. But I don't want to miss the forest for the trees on this thing, because this is a major employment development that the county has wanted and staff has been encouraging for a couple of years with us now. And even though staff really wanted this to happen quickly, it's taken us 16 months to get to the board, and it's an 800,000 square foot light industrial development on the frontage. All of the multifamily is all in the rear, way off of the road. I think it's maybe 3/4 of a mile off the road. We're contributing with Pasco Town Center to the construction of the first 4 lanes of McKendree for about 1/3 of a mile, and then we have other obligations to widen it later in the development. So there's a lot to like here. We're building 2 other vision roads and a lot of good things. But I think The Commissioner Waitman comment was he was concerned when you first read the staff report that it says 1,000 multifamily units, and he didn't want us to have 1,000 apartments. I can assure you we will not have 1,000
Well,
apartments.
that's why I want to make sure there was
Yeah.
park space for all those.
Right. No,
dog
we
park and all those
completely
things,
understand.
all those stuff.
It's a nomenclature issue in Connected City.
So something I want to be careful of is as we keep restricting everybody from no workforce housing, I think we need to distinguish from certain aspects of the Live Local Act, or whatever it's called, versus other types of workforce housing, because if we're not careful, the people who need to have these, many of the people that will have these jobs won't be able to live there because we keep restricting affordable housing. So I think we need to be careful when we restrict it. I'm just wondering if we can restrict that any further.
Well,
We don't
Just-
restrict it.
If I might, because I think this is a critical distinction on a mixed-use project. The reason why it's critical that you have it here is we're doing this as a mixed-use project, as an employment center would have been built from the 2006-07 comprehensive plan, meaning that we've got a substantial employment area, some retail office that goes along with that, and then the high-density housing. But you need that live local condition, because without it, some bad actor might come in and try to convert the employment that we want to even more residential,
Yeah.
and that we don't want.
Well, and I didn't mean it on this project.
Okay.
I mean,
But
in
you-
general.
But you don't generally. What you generally, that condition
we
is
say
only,
convert.
is only put on commercial or industrial
Yeah.
project, rezonings, so as not to have them convert to multifamily. So it doesn't restrict anybody's ability to do affordable housing in this county. It just, you get what you
Yeah,
get what
if
they're.
you bargained with me to have a mixed-use project, I better deliver a mixed-use project,
That's right.
not just apartments. Anyway, I hope that answered Commissioner
Yeah,
Waitman's
I'm good with that.
concerns. Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone to speak to this item?
There's no one signed up.
Anyone on WebEx?
No, sir.
All right, to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Item P84.
P84 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on August 23rd, 2023.
Denise Hernandez, Planning and Development. Item P84 is PDD 24CU02. As my team brings up the PowerPoint, this is a conditional use request for a 155-foot above-ground level monopole wireless communication facility, which will consist of a 150-foot wireless communication facility with a 5-foot lightning rod in an AR agricultural residential district. The applicant is Pasco Land and Cattle Company, LLC, Skyway Towers, LLC, Verizon Wireless. As stated, is a conditional use for 155-foot above-ground level monopole wireless communication facility in an AR1 district with a future land use classification of Res 1. The proposal is a 150-foot wireless communication facility with a 5-foot lightning rod, which will be suitable for the co-location of 3 additional carriers. So you'll have 4 carriers, the anchor tenant, and 3 additional carriers. It's proposed to be located along the southwestern area of the property within a 6,400 square foot fence compound area, which is part of an overall 10,000 square foot leased area. The property is located on the north side of Green Willow Run, approximately 2,000 feet east of Quail Hollow Boulevard. It's in central Pasco County. The subject zoning is the subject property zoning is AR1 agricultural residential district. It is surrounded by the north, south, the east by AR1, and a portion of the west has AR agricultural residential district. Surrounding land use is Res 1 to the south, east, and west, and conservation to the north. Access to the overall site is from Green Willow Run. Access to the wireless communication facility compound area is through a 30-foot wide access and utility easement, which is located off of Green Willow Run. This is providing the context of the area. To the north, you have Tampa Bay Water and Southwest Florida Water Management District owned parcels. Just please note that this subject property is approximately 160 acres. So to the north of the subject property, not of the actual site. To the south, you have the agricultural, residential, rural areas of Tampa Highlands. To the east, you have Estate Residential, Westwood Estates subdivision, and to the west, you have Quail Run Estates. This is the site plan showing the proposed monopole with the anchor tenant at the top of the monopole, showing the lightning rod, which is 5 feet, and then showing 3 additional carriers, which are required. Actually, they're going up 1 additional carrier above what's required under the Land Development Code for co-location. The application comes to you with a recommendation of approval with condition. You do have some objections, which are included in your packet. The first objection: the property owner is located approximately 3,500 feet northwest of the location of the wireless communication facility. Your second objector is located approximately 1,200 feet southeast of the wireless communication facility location, and the third objector is located over 3,500 feet southwest of the wireless communication facility location. I'm here for any questions, and the applicant is here as well.
Any questions for Denise?
No.
Denise, as far as when you just mentioned the locations of it, as far as the site location, it's a pretty big parcel.
It's a really large parcel. It's located in the southwesternmost. I kind of have that yellow little dot where it's kind of located. It's approximately 100 feet from the south boundary of the parcel. That's where the compound area will be located. So, right here.
So the objectors, where they're coming from, northwest and southwest?
So I think some of them are here. So one of the objectors is up in this area over here. Another objector is, sorry, off of this. The 2 others are off the map. They're not even in this context map.
Okay.
But you do have some folks here who may not have written a letter of objection
Okay.
that would like to speak on the matter.
All right. Is there an applicant here?
The applicant is here, yes.
Okay. Would the applicant like to speak?
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. James Johnston with Schutz & Bowen, 300 South Orange Avenue in Orlando, on behalf of the applicant. We appreciate...
And you have been sworn?
I have been sworn.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. We appreciate Ms. Hernandez working with her and her thorough staff report. I have with me Bill Compton, who's with Verizon RF, and also Harold Timmons, who's with TEP, who did the site acquisition. We're here to answer questions. We appreciate staff support. We're agreeable to the conditions of approval. I'd like to point out that the code requires an outside independent consultant to review this for the county, who also found that it was needed and recommended approval, as well as the Planning Commission recommended approval. So we are here to answer questions, but we'd ask for your support on approving this conditional use permit, and just ask for some time to come back if there are comments from the public.
So I'll ask you a question. As far as the site location, you've got it in the southwest part of your property. Is that the best location for it with what's around it?
Well, I mean, again, when you're doing a cell tower site, it's, where it works from a landowner perspective. You have to find a willing landowner, plus where they want it on the property. This property also has significant wetlands and floodplain issues, so it's located in an area that is on uplands. It is in that southwest corner, but it is in an area of uplands, and there is a significant trees around it, so it is set back 100 feet, and there will be existing trees that will remain as buffer both on that south and west side, as well as on the balance of the property.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So this is a public hearing. Anyone here to speak to this item?
Anybody signed up?
Signed up?
There is no one signed up.
No one
so
signed up, but if the people want to speak, please come forward.
When you come to the podium, remember name and address, and let us know if you've been sworn. Thank you.
Paul Fermani, Suite 102, 27251 Wesley Chapel Boulevard, 33544. I have been sworn. I moved from the urban sprawl of Hillsborough County, Carrollwood, to rural Pasco County, a place that I thought would be ideal for my children and my family, so that we could, I'm speaking obviously in opposition to this 150-foot pole in our community, because the applicant, it has saddle wood written all over it. This is for future homes that have yet to be built, and saddlewood. If saddlewood wants better cell phone reception, because ours is just fine, stick it in the middle of saddlewood, not in the middle of Quail Hollow. And by the way, I live in Quail Hollow Estates. I have 3 lots. One of it is contiguous to the 200-acre parcel that this pole is going to be stuck on. And we cherish what Quail Hollow is. It's a sanctuary from development, from urban sprawl. We like the unsullied scenery. We like looking at the red-shouldered hawks and the deer. My children enjoy riding their horses on the trails of the well fields. We bought a home in the middle of a swamp on a dead-end road for a reason, so we could escape the urban sprawl. So now we have an out-of-state owner applying to an out-of-state corporation so Verizon can get a leg up on AT&T and stick this as a constant reminder to us that the corporations and the out-of-state owners and the builders and the developers want to sully what I have been living there for 31 years as a voter and as a taxpayer. So I deeply object. We don't even have homeowners associations. There's nobody there to tell us the size and the color of our mailbox. We've already suffered enough because of Saddlewood suing Tampa Bay Water. They shifted the water drainage away from Saddlewood directly across all 3 of my properties. I don't want to be a victim of overdevelopment anymore. We are sick and tired, the homeowners of Quail Hollow. We don't want a car wash on every corner. We don't want cookie-cutter homes on 0 lot lines. We want to be left alone. So I urge you to vote against this proposal. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie LaFew, and I am a homeowner. We've bought our land back in '96. I have not been sworn in.
Okay,
All right.
so if you'll...
Ladies behind you, have you been sworn in as well?
If you have not
Get
been
at the
sworn
end.
in, please raise your right hand. If anybody else is going to speak, okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so if you would, your name and address, and then that
Thank
you've been
you.
sworn. Thanks.
My name is Stephanie LaFew, and our address is 26929 Coral Vine Lane. Where this proposed tower is supposed to be is my walking path. We bought in '96, built in '08. We've raised our family there, continue to enjoy there. This would be something that will definitely lower our land values, our property values. There's health concerns. I am a realtor. I know that it would. It's unsightly. The deer are running out of places to roam. It would definitely be something to lessen our values. It would make sense to have this more in a commercial area. The Grove is not very far from our community. It could be better along the interstate area toward the Grove, where people are not enjoying life in the quiet where we live now. All right, so much development of the homes are going on in the area, and I, to a certain degree, welcome it because it's my line of work. However, this antenna will definitely lower our values and is a health concern, and we are not for it. It's not good for wildlife and the people that live in our community. So I vote no. I would hope that you will be thinking about what the people here where we live and what our opinion is. We say no. Thank you.
What was your address again? I'm sorry. Yeah.
26929 Coral Vine Lane. I'm one road away from it, across the street.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Elliott. I live at 8810 Quail Run Drive.
And have you been
I've
sworn?
spoken with some of you before.
Have you been sworn, ma'am?
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
I would like to point out that the individuals that own that piece that's outlined in red also own an almost identical piece to the right or east of that. So they have a total of over 300 acres. For them to decide to put it in the southwest corner where it impacts so many people, I don't understand. I do ride in that area. I know there's a lot of area that is wetlands, but that is not the only spot there that can be built upon. I moved out here, well, on Quail Hollow, in the Quail Hollow area over 30 years ago. This would be just such an impact on our property. I noticed that it was called Saddlewood proposal. You know, if they want it, please put it over closer to Saddlewood. There's 300 acres there. I know I'm not allowed to bring up health concerns. I know I'm not allowed to bring up losing all of my honeybees to this.
You can bring up anything you want to bring up.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You can bring up anything you want to bring up.
Well, it'll be shot down, so I'll keep my 3 minutes going. I have contacted, and I might be in error, but I believe the Verizon gentleman said that he had contacted any sort of historic impact from a Seminole Indian aspect. I've been in contact with the, what is its title? Tribal Historic Preservation Office with the Seminole Indians. There's a lot of artifacts in that area, a great many artifacts. They're in the process of checking it out, or will be checking it out. They have not done so yet. I believe at the last meeting we were at, I believe the gentleman said that they had already gone through those steps. As far as Mr. Mueller is concerned, he has not heard from them. So I think that from a historic standpoint, and considering Pasco County does have, what's it called, Historic Preservation Ordinance, I think we really should value a little bit of what potentially is on that land. And like I said, I've been out there for over 30 years, and I know that there is a great many artifacts. I know the Seminole tribe is interested in checking on it. And I know I really don't want to see that on my horizon as soon as I get up every morning. Thank you for your time. Please vote no on this. Thank you.
I have been sworn in.
Okay, then name and address.
Oh, yes, my name is Meryl Fermani. I'm at 8810 Quail Run Drive. I had actually written a letter, I wasn't listed, I guess, to Commissioner Waitman. So I'll just kind of reiterate some of my concerns. The yellow dot looks quite a bit farther north. It's only, the fence is 50 foot off of Green Willow, and the tower itself is 100 foot. There are so many residents around there that don't have a choice. If they wanted to sell, they're going to lose value on those homes because the people moving in will either ask for a lower price because of this visual eyesore, but they get that choice. They get to say, well, it's worth the money, I'll take that piece of property. The people that are there now won't get that choice. We're just being told essentially that it's necessary, and that it's going to go in because the property has owners that are out of state, and it doesn't affect them at all. And then Verizon, there are several people that said that we have a coverage need, and then they put up in the presentation really great looking maps. However, there are no streets shown on those maps. It's just a nice green, kind of X that shows this increased coverage in that area. So when I went and fit the scale to it and everything, that was part of what I showed to Commissioner Waitman. There's barely anything additional to that area that gets additional coverage. There's already a tower that we get coverage from just off of 54, and then Saddlewood is mostly covered by, it's just west of I-75. There's a tower there as well. The only coverage benefit is not even the majority of, let's see, it was Woodleaf? Woodleaf Boulevard. It doesn't extend the entirety of Woodleaf, so if it benefits Westwood, I can understand that. It doesn't get all of Westwood. If it went more northeast in that property where some of these people wouldn't have to see it every day and lose value on their homes and on their quality of life, because we all moved out there because there's this conservation land to the north. We were hoping that that would mean it wasn't going to be developed further. There's the Cypress Creek Preserve extends down to the west as well. We were safe on that side. There's a lot of wetlands to the east. We thought we would be safe on that side. We made those choices for how we want to live our lives. And then Shenandoah, which is a majority of Saddlewood, isn't covered at all. It's covered by the one that's on Sedgway Boulevard to the west of I-75. So I don't think that the benefit outweighs the cost for those of us that are already there, that have been there for so long. And I think it's strange that on the map, it didn't show any of the streets that would benefit it. When you look at it, it's like, wow, it's going to be so much more green. That makes sense. And then you see the border, and it barely covers 2 streets, because those are the only 2 streets that could stand to benefit. I just don't think that this is a good fit. And just for a quantity of towers to go into Florida rather than quality, I don't think is Verizon's standard either. There's 300 acres. Perhaps it could go more northeast. And that's it. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kathy Vance, and I live at 26435 Green Willow Run. My property...
And you've been sworn, correct?
Pardon?
You have been sworn, correct? You have been sworn?
Yes.
Thank you.
My property borders the west side. We have 12 and a half acres there. The way the tower is going to be, it's 50 feet from my property line. I also own an acre in front of that, which is on Green Willow, and so it'll be 100 feet from there. I'm going to have to look at this thing every day. I know that we can't object on so many things. I wrote to Commissioner Waitman when we first found out about it, and the letter I received back from his associate assistant said that, well, because of FCC rules, we couldn't object because of health reasons or a few other things. And I'm not objecting to that. I know chances are it's going to be approved. However, he has over 300 acres. I have lived there since 1985, and I know a lot of the area there floods. In fact, where they're talking about putting it is right in front of, excuse me, a cypress head. So the other side that isn't shown on the map that he owned would be a much better fit for it. There's nobody there. There's nobody going to have to be looking at it. And so I would hope that you would take everything we've all said into consideration and vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tim Donovan. I live at 26422 Green Willow Run, which is right across the street from the proposal. And I don't think
Sir,
really
you've been
any of
sworn.
us. Yes, ma'am.
You've been sworn. Okay, thank you.
I don't really think any of us are really against the tower going up. It's just where it's being placed. With 300 acres, you'd think they could move it somewhere that would please everyone. Everyone would be happy in the neighborhood. He lives in St. Louis, and I think it's all about the money. Where the proposed site is now, it'd be easy access for them to get in and out, whereas they don't want to build it on a different location where it won't bother anybody because it's going to take a lot more money to get a road and get everything going there. But I still don't really know who it's going to benefit. I mean, I have Frontier 5G, works just fine. I have no problem with cell service, internet service. So I don't know who they're building it for. There's no one there. And why would it matter if it's placed on the opposite side of the proposed site, away from the neighborhoods, away from my friends and neighbors? I came here 21 years ago to build equity in my house, and I've learned that this takes like 20% equity away when you go to sell it. in my comments, if I were gonna sell my house, I don't think I'd have that as a feature. 1,000 feet across the street's a cell tower. I don't think that would help me. But still really don't know who this is gonna benefit. But if I had 300 acres and didn't even live around here, I think I'd want everyone to be happy and not have an eyesore built in the middle of a neighborhood. It's so pristine and nice. To have some eyesore sticking out there just wouldn't be attractive. And with that much land, you think that they could sure reposition it somewhere else. And not to mention all the other different things with the health conditions and just seeing lights and stuff at night. And we moved out there to be in a quiet neighborhood and not have lights and towers and stuff going over us. And I suppose they have 3 other positions that 3 other companies can come in and add to it. Well, they're just saying the one for Verizon. Well, if other companies come in there and want to build, well, they're just going to have to add on to the tower, right? They're going to make it even bigger and more of an eyesore than it would be initially. So I sure hope you guys can understand. If you lived in the community, you wouldn't want it there either. Please, thank you for listening, and I hope you can get it moved to somewhere else or say no. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak to item P84? Anyone WebEx?
No, sir.
I'm going to close public comment. Back to staff first. Denise, I asked earlier about the location site, and I'm just looking at like, why would it be 50 foot away from a home when you could go to the northern part and the eastern part, and especially nobody knows the acres beside that. Any reason we didn't look at that, or did we?
No, we did not look at that. That was the location that the applicant proposed, where the compound area is located. The applicant did state, and if you do the wetland layer, you will see, and we do also have comments from Natural Resources, that the property does have wetlands, and when it comes in, if it moves from this phase, when it comes in for the preliminary site plan, they're going to want to look at it. They want to have a full wetland delineation as well of the site.
Right. Mike, could someone pull up on map on pages, and we'll kind of look at the topo and look at the wetlands out there? Denise, what's a normal setback from a 155 foot pole?
The setback, according to Land Development Code 1002, basically states that the setbacks are based on the zoning district within which they're located. So, and you're looking at a tier 3, which is a conditional use. So the setbacks for AR1 district and they're measured from the fence compound area, 50 from the front, 25 from each side, and 50 from the rear. And then, of course, whatever requirements would be from any wetland line.
Are we prohibited by federal government regulations on expanding that number?
We do not. You can add any condition that you would like to add regarding the setbacks. If you want greater setbacks, but I will say that their site plan does show greater setbacks than a 25-foot side setback. So.
Okay. And I'll go by the one lady, so she was 50 feet away, but I think it's something we need to take a look at.
Where did they say they were 50 foot from a home?
One of the residents.
I think the person said 50 feet possibly from their property line. I don't think they said from a home.
Okay. So the wetlands are pretty much those 3 red dots that are there.
And the yellow, those are category 1, the yellow, and then the red is category 3. This is just giving us a guide. This is not the actual wetland delineation.
Okay, so it could go to that northern part into the east. There's no wetland there. Okay. Any other questions for staff? All right. Let's bring the applicant up. We've heard the concerns. Everyone says they get reception service, so why would you pick that location, and could you move it? Would you move it?
Again, I represent Verizon, and and this is a landowner question where we've been guided to by the landowner to make it work. We did look at other sites around, and typically what happens when you're looking for a new tower site, which by the way is always the second option, you look to co-locate if you can. But if you have to do a new tower to provide the coverage, you get a search ring, and then you send out notices to potential properties in the search ring. And so we did look at other properties as well. This was, I think, the only response where we could go. There's no tower closer than 1.25 miles away. And so then within the landowner, then you also have factors like where the landowner would like to see it on the property, as well as factors like the wetlands, floodplain, trying to locate it where we don't have to have, a driveway going all the way back to get to it. So this is the lease area where Verizon has the lease to go. And to move it would essentially require, starting over, excuse me.
Is the landowner with you today?
I'm sorry?
Is the landowner with you
I
today?
do not think the landowner. No.
Okay. All right. I don't know about the board, but I would rather have them take a look at a different site on this property. I don't mind continuing it and bringing it back if they can go do the research.
Do you show your overlay of coverage?
Yes, we do have that. That was part of our application. I do have a Verizon RF person here. I mean, one thing I could throw out too, because we obviously heard the concerns. I mean, we could go instead of a monopole, a monopine, to try to take care of some of the visual concerns for the tower as an alternative.
So I've been dropping a pin on the street. It looks like it's a heavily wooded lot.
It is.
Are you keeping that vegetative barrier up in
We
the
are.
front?
I mean, the
don't
only
think you can see it.
area that will be, the lease area is 100 foot by 100 foot, and then within there, the actual tower compound will be 80 feet by 80 feet. So that's where the tower and the equipment will be located. Other than that, the balance of the mature tree canopy will stay, around that tower site.
Did you come prepared to show what that might look like with someone walking down the street?
I think we did submit, as part of our application.
Because I'm looking here, I dropped a pin, and I can throw that up there. Yes.
I did.
It's very, very heavily wooded.
So those woods could disappear if they develop.
Well, does your lot go to the front and you're keeping a buffer, or you're just buying that 40, or 80?
Well, we're leasing, and it doesn't. The tower is actually 100 feet back from the property line. And so there will be, the compound will be with a vinyl fence, it will be landscaped, but then also surrounding that will be the existing tree canopy that's on the site.
But the owner could come in and clear that canopy out, and then it's a different story. That's what we're trying to.
Yeah, well, let me just move forward here. I mean, those are some pictures taken from the road. You can see the one in the middle shows the existing trees surrounding it, and one on the left and right show like the view from the road. And those trees obviously would remain because the tower is 100 feet back.
Well,
from the,
are you buying that property and putting it in the back, or some?
Verizon is leasing the 100 by 100 foot area.
So you're leasing a 100-foot area, and you're putting the tower. How far back? Because you said it's 80 by 80, so 20 feet.
It's in the middle of the 80 by 80 foot area, but I'm saying the actual pinpoint location of the tower is 100 feet set back into the lot.
How far?
75 feet from the west boundary.
Okay, so, sorry, I have a really bad case of tinnitus going on, so it's hard for me. So your tower, your land is 100 feet, and your tower is going to be how many feet back from the road? I know what you're saying, that it's within.
It would be 100 feet back from the property line, so even more, there's some part of the right-of-way between the road and So it'll probably be from the northern edge of the road, 120 feet
And
setback
you
from
will,
there.
so there will always be this buffer in the front? That's what we're trying to find out.
Yes, so once it passes this section, we're going to come in, they'll come in for a preliminary site plan.
Oh.
And they will be subject to those specific setbacks and the requirements that are stated on the conditions of approval, which include that they have to buffer the actual compound area regardless of whether there's tree canopies or whatever, unless they specifically ask for an alternative standard to use the tree canopy. But based on the application that I have in front of me, they are actually going to do buffering additional to what's surrounding them anyway.
Well, no one would see that buffering if they're not taking the other buffering out. I would prefer that they keep all the trees between the street and the.
And I think as a condition of approval, you could add that those, you know, the existing landscaping remain on the west and south of the tower, outside of the specific 80 by 80 foot compound area.
So in that case, I don't think you would see it from the road because those trees would be blocking your view. Also, to put it further back in the property, they'd have to get power to it. They'd have to build a road. So, I mean, I don't know that property, but.
Well, and I think that was one of the things is then.
And the coverage wouldn't be there for the community.
Let's look at that coverage map if we could.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess, are some of these things in site plan? Would be in this.
Coverage.
It's a weird.
Well, they said that our engineer agreed with their engineers.
Yeah.
Again, I can have Bill Compton come up from Verizon RF to explain better, you know, the coverage needs.
Okay.
Because it's not just, when you deal with coverage like this, it's coverage and capacity, and all the
Right.
towers work together and help offload each other. And so this is needed for both of those.
We've recently been through a few cell tower things, and we've seen coverages where we're putting a tower here because we're trying to get coverage around there, so that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And-
Especially when these people say they have coverage.
But more and more things are going on the internet, you know, the wireless.
Well, and someone's explained it to me previously that it's, you know, you have coverage and capacity, and so the coverage is like, do you have a street out in front of you? Yes, but if it's filled with traffic, you know, you get on it, you don't move very fast, so you also need the capacity to increase, add the lanes,
Exactly.
you know, to increase the capacity and make it better.
Right, but is this the best location as far as we're concerned? We've got an industrial park at overpass in 75, that's got a 60 high foot, 80 high foot building. Wouldn't be probably a factor in that area there. But here, you're right next to residences, 50 feet away from the property
I'm going
line.
to let Bill come up because he can better explain why it's needed in this area, because again, you have an RF design.
That's what I'm looking
search
for.
area. Yeah.
We're bringing up your coverage now.
Oh, okay,
Mr.
great.
Chairman. Commissioner Oakley.
I think the issue is seeing the tower. If you didn't see the tower, it wouldn't be an issue at all. I mean, but they've got, if they move it back, then I'd be okay with it, but back where these residents won't be seeing it every time they walk into their house.
I don't think they'll see it, the tree canopies.
And I think the other thing is we have residents, you know, who have, you know, spoken in front of it, and then also back behind, so you move it back, you actually get it closer to other residents. And so it's kind of one of those things where, you know, it is going to be 150 feet tall, but, you know, when you're down on the ground, it's not the same perspective, I think, as what you think. And again, I do think we would be willing to go monopine design, you know, to fit in with the surrounding, you know, what's in that surrounding area to try to make it blend in better.
Okay, so let's get back to the coverage issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you'd see it from far away, but not.
William Compton. William Compton from Verizon Wireless. Address is 7705 East Telecom Parkway, Tampa, and I have been sworn in.
Thank you.
Bill No, you told me 50.
Sure. So our expert has reviewed.
That's what Denise said.
So I'm looking, before you change that slide, I'm going to ask you the question after the very bottom of that slide that was just up there. It talked about if this is not allowed to happen, it won't allow us to resolve capacity issues in the area. So I'm going to have you address that after we look at the coverage.
I'm going to get to the actual coverage slides. So our wonderful nemesis, COVID, really expanded upon a problem that Verizon Wireless was having before that, which is a lot of our traffic is moving into the more residential areas. More people are working from home. They're using our service for their internet service. They're taking calls, work calls from home, doing video calls from home, that kind of stuff. So a lot more of our traffic has moved into the residential areas. That's why you're seeing a lot more sites, new towers being proposed in those residential areas. And the reason for that is the capacity, like I said before. So a lot of people are saying in the crowd that are saying that there's existing coverage, and that is true. The problem is, as Mr. James there has said before, there's coverage and there's capacity. And the reason why we're here today is not for coverage. We know that there's coverage out there. We drive our network all the time. But we also have to look into the future, and we have to look at what the capacity situation is on the existing sites that cover those areas. And the exponential growth that we're seeing in those residential areas is what's driving us to build sites like this. Verizon doesn't just build sites because they want to. There's a very elaborate process inside Verizon to allocate the funds to do sites like this. This is over a $500,000 to $750,000 investment from Verizon Wireless in infrastructure to build these sites, so it's not something we do just because we want to. Trust me, I would love if we could do all the paperwork I have to do to justify these things. That's my job as a traffic engineer as well. So we're out here to try and get ahead of the problem. I'm glad the customers right now for Verizon are saying they don't have any coverage and capacity issues that they're seeing right now. We're here to be ahead of that. We don't want them to have those coverage and capacity issues in the future. So speaking to the maps, the map up on the screen right now, I believe that's the existing coverage. So you can see the green areas, or what we're predicting is the signal level provides what we call, reliable coverage. Sorry, I have a mental block there. So those are reliable areas. So the signal level there would get you inside a building, because we know most of our coverage, most of our capacity comes from in building. Not many people are working outside. They're not sitting at their computer out in the yard. They're actually inside the house. So we're having to overcome the sheet metal roofs, the low E glass that they're putting into new houses, that kind of stuff makes it much harder for us to penetrate into the buildings with our RF signals. So again, this is the existing coverage. And then with the new site, what that does is it not only provides new coverage, but any of the area that it covers that was covered previously by the existing sites, it offloads that traffic. So the people that are over on I-75 that are right underneath that site on I-75, they're going to get improved service there, because now that site's not having to cover the customers all the way out into the Quail Hollow and the west side of Saddlewood community. That's the reason why we build these sites.
There's a lot of usage along that road that's going up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information that goes into those
75?
internal.
To the left.
Sorry.
To the left of 75.
Well, 75 is to the right on the screen.
What's this right here?
75 is to the right of the screen, right?
Oh, yes, to the right. It's where that right
to the
blue dot is.
So,
And that's our Verizon.
where's Old Pasco Road?
Right inside it.
Yeah, well, have you seen what's going on that road?
No, so what
I got it.
so as I said earlier, if you took this pole and moved it to the right, it's getting it closer to that whole surface he's trying to fix anyway.
But
The
it's
people-
also getting closer to existing Verizon facilities, which, again, these are all designed to help offload from each other. And so it's kind of a balancing act between the different sites.
And I bet you if you put that yellow dot over just the side, it's probably real close to even with those two blue dots. It's not a big difference. And it's away from the homes.
Are you putting 5G over there yet? Or you know those little ones that go every They've got them on
Small-
Little Road now.
small
Small cell? Are you coming in on Old Pasco with small cell?
Not at this point, no. We're not, there's not enough site density, enough user density along that road. Small cells, because of all the trees and the dense trees in the area, they don't get very far off the road. So
Yeah.
we do that more in like the Miami type morphologies. Downtown Tampa has small cells.
We have them on Little Road.
Yeah, we have some out there. It just has to be enough density of people.
Please put some in Trinity.
So as I look at this here, right to the right of that, you still got a good amount of red that's open.
Yes, and most of that area is the east side of that large parcel that the landowner owns that's not even developed. So we're not interested in covering that area. That's not where our usage is coming from. There's additional information that Verizon gets from our users that we cannot share in a public forum as such. It's customer proprietary network information. Basically, it shows where our users are actually using the services, and we get to look at those maps and see where the actual usage is coming from. And this site does meet the requirements to offload enough traffic to get us into the future for the sites in the surrounding area.
Now, do you have a clear picture of the previous slide, and can we put them up side by side? Skills.
Impressive.
That one. No, I think you have it.
Yeah, right there. So that cell tower goes up. I don't see a lot of change
To the right.
except to the right.
Yeah.
So moving that pole to the right, still not going to hurt the coverage. It's going to cover it. Everything else to the side from over there, you're not going to change much anyway. I don't see any harm with moving it to the right, with less people.
I mean, again, I would say this is an RF issue and design issue. Your third-party independent consultant who reviewed it and said there is a need, and there is a need in this location.
Need or not, from what you're showing me, from where this map clears out the red to the side, I don't see any difference to it. I mean, I don't think it would hurt you at all by moving it to the side, because you're still going to you might even get better coverage from the people that are over there anyway.
I mean, I appreciate your comment, but again, I think this is an engineered design system that's been proposed by engineers, reviewed by engineers as being appropriate.
And has opposition from residents. So at this point in time, I'm not going to support it. I'd rather have you go back, work with the residents, work with your engineers, and work with the landowner, see if you can move it to the side.
Are
That's
you
my
saying
thought.
for him to move it to the right side of that property?
I'm saying to the right. There's less people over there. There's more room. You can go up to the north, and I don't think it's going to hurt us
Closer to
coverage.
the houses, looking at that, at Google Maps, there's some,
Let's go.
right now,
Let's go
there's-
pull up
there's
the.
no-
Let's go pull the property map up again. Thank you very much. You did a great job getting those double screens. That was perfect.
so I don't know if you can see the houses. So can you lower that? So right now it's on the left side over here. Actually, I think it's over there. And they also own the parcel, oh, is that a wetland?
Yeah.
That,
Category 2.
so they can't go,
So if you put it up that top right, you're going to be less further away from all these people.
top right, where?
Of the property.
Up there. And access is what?
Is that a roadway that runs all the way up there? Dirt road?
Yeah. Travel line up there.
So they even have access up there.
Oh, I thought.
I'd rather them go back and take a look at this.
I'll say from an RF standpoint, the further you put us away from people, the harder it is for us to cover those people. So there's a reason why we try and be near people, is to cover them.
Your maps don't justify it. I see the improvement in your coverage is all to the right side anyway, from what you just showed, when we just had the maps up side by side. So if my moving it over there, it's probably not going to change much of that. It might even get you better coverage from what you're showing right there. But I want you to go take a look at it. I'd like to continue this and let you go take a look at it and bring it back to us.
All right, and that's fine. I mean, if that's the
That's mine, but I'm only one of 5 votes.
Chair, Seth here.
Commissioner Waitman.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I appreciate everybody who reached out to the office. I'm not opposed historically and consistently to sell sites, to sell coverages. It's the way that we communicate in today's world. It's necessary. There's a lot of room here, and there's a lot happening up and down on Pasco Road, especially with the road widening project coming and everything else going on there. I'd hate to see a cell tower not go in. We have communities that are very nearby that are really urging to have cell signal put in there. That way they can hold their signal. So if there's a way, y'all can figure out a way to make this work, kind of meet this point in the middle. I'd be for that. I don't want to see a project with some power site not filling how much is coming this way.
Thank you, Commissioner Waitman. And tell you, to your point, to Old Pasco Road, this gets it closer to Old Pasco Road, so when that development does come in, it actually helps them. And again, I know we need cell towers. I just want to make sure we pick the best location. And if you're supportive to make the motion to continue, I'm sure the board would support you.
How quickly can we get back? Because there's always, for the growing county like ours, there's always
30 days?
I think she was saying November 14th.
November 14th.
November 14th? Okay. Commissioner Waitman, they said they can bring it back November 14th to us. And I think that would give them time to meet with the residents as well as setting up the new maps and be able to show us what they could do.
Yeah, I'm not for them giving up. I want to,
No, I don't want to give them up either.
So, I'm going to continue the item, and I appreciate y'all working through this a little bit longer.
Thank you.
The commissioner's motion would be to continue to November 14th at 1:30 or as soon thereafter as same may be heard.
And I'll second that in discussion.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with Commissioner Waitman, and, we've seen this lots of times, that people don't want a cell tower. They say they're fine, but we heard that from the residents of Starkey Ranch. But you cannot make a phone call from the library. Starkey TLC, you can't.
When they get overloaded, it happens.
You can't I drop calls driving down Starkey Boulevard. My mother-in-law, who's now in hospice at Watermark down the street, you have to walk outside to call the nurse to come in. These are very serious issues. A lot of people don't even have landlines anymore, so we have to be mindful of making sure we have our grid. And listen, I helped write that cell tower ordinance. I'm not cell towers aren't the prettiest thing, but they're necessary. I do question the 155 feet. I mean, is that so if it was lower, it would be administrative? So what is the height that we go for administrative approvals?
So administrative approvals really, to a certain extent, not only have to do with height, but also has to do with the way it's camouflaged. And it depends on the land use and also administrative approvals. So like, for example, an administrative approval for something like this would probably be a unipole, and you've received commentary that those do not work for cell tower companies anymore because of overheating, because of the size of their equipment, et cetera. I think something in the future that we really need to do is look at on 1002, wireless communications facility, that section of the code, because a lot of things in there are a little bit outdated.
Outdated?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so we have a motion. Commissioner Waitman?
To that point, I want to go down a rabbit hole. If we look at, to Mr. Mendez's point, we look at the natural, like what's on this project, that looks like, there's a lot of pines, and we find a way to have the buffer as significant as this. I don't know how we make that rule. I think that could go a long, long way, so I can see that.
Yeah, I think we could cover that in maybe even committee reports, we can talk about it a little bit more, but we have a motion to continue to November 14th. Gentlemen, I appreciate the willingness to go work with it, and if you can work on the camouflage too, great, but call the roll.
All right, District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Motion to continue. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, item P85, I know Denise is going to speak to it before she gets to it. I hear we're going to continue this, and we did have some residents, Monica Wise, who I saw right before the meeting, had talked to her on the phone. She dropped off a folder for all the commission as well as for the administrator to go take a look at.
What are we continuing?
I need a motion to receive and file.
So, hold on first.
Okay.
This was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times, August 2nd, 2023. Now proceed.
Can we just read the title? That way we know we're receiving and filing for that title.
Excellent, thank you.
Is this for 85?
This is for
Yes.
P85.
P85 PDD 247710, it's a zoning amendment, Village Green MPUD LBD 1 LLC, rezoning from AR agricultural residential and AR1 agricultural residential to an MPUD master plan unit development to allow for maximum 470 dwelling units and 14,000 square feet of neighborhood scale commercial and approximately 48 acres. As the commissioner stated, the request came in last night to continue the item to the November 14th, 2023 Board of County Commissioners meeting at 1:30 in Dade City.
Okay.
I'll move.
Well, I just wanted to share something with you all. So, I mean, I'm okay with continuing it, but there's something.
Good, good.
Okay, so I think I have the developer permission, or the planner, whatever, to show the layout. Are you okay with that?
Show it on the.
Okay, I just want to say, I don't remember how many units are in this. Denise, how many units are they proposing? Okay, so if this were an apartment complex, that'd be a pretty big apartment complex. I just think it's a very, very creative layout for multifamily that I encourage for the type of placemaking that we want to have. So I don't know what's going on in my future immediately with the family issues, so who knows if I'll be here when it comes back. So I just want to be sure and say that I think this is a very good layout. You're seeing, have you guys met with the applicant? So the Village Green, they've got like commercial along the green. Those are apartments circling it. Then you have townhomes, and it scales down as you get away from the Village Green. And it
It's a
tends to
nice
got
development.
rear-loaded product. It's a wonderful plan.
It's a good plan.
It's a really good plan. It's
agree.
going to look so nice from the street, and it's going to be an asset, in my opinion, and there's people here to object, but in my mind, it's an asset to the community around it. So I can see art, all kinds of festivals in that Village Green, and this is kind of what we talk about when we say placemaking. So kudos to the layout on this plan.
And they have made some great strides in the development. I would encourage them, I think they're going to, from what I hear with staff and everything, work together to the other corner, because we've got a circle that we're trying to work on.
Right.
And I will tell you, I drove the site this morning coming in, so I went down Curly Road, I zipped over back the other way, went back up to 52, went down Wirt Road, drove all the way down the dirt road to connect back over at Prospect. So I did the whole thing. So I recommend maybe on the way home, even go take a drive and take a look at it.
Welcome
Dri-
to District
Drive it
One.
around, I'm sure you've driven
Talking
it many
about going down
times.
the road that's behind, because I think they need to access that.
I said,
Well,
welcome
and
to
that- and that's
District
part of the
One.
great thing about staff and them working with the other developments that's right around it too. They're working together, can kind of put that together. The staff had some good conditions. They were trying to work it out too with the people, so I think continue this down, we get a
They're
chance to
working
make something
together.
real good with it.
That group's working
I'm
together.
optimistic we'll make
Work
something
road,
good happen.
Work road, yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
I agree.
It needs to be a grid, and that's part of the problem with Watergrass. I don't know if you remember, but that developer came in and asked us to not connect the roads, and I told you all that was gonna be a real problem, and now it's a real problem for that community, because the roads, we didn't make him connect to the communities around him, and everyone's going out on that main road, so that's
the
what
one road.
happens. And we should not have let him get away with that.
Well, we should go ahead and develop that road that goes all the way to 301 and meets up with Cossack to the north, to the
Well, he
north
would
of
have had
that.
to make the connections, not us, if we
Yeah.
followed with what we say we want in connectivity. But that is a classic example of where we let him get away with it. So with that,
So before we go further, there's paperwork that we want to get brought to us to receive and file, put in by Monica Wise. So we have a motion to receive and file that.
You have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second, okay, so I'll call
are
a
we
motion.
under a motion right now?
This is a separate, this is just,
But I think we have to act on our motion.
well, the motion's to receive and file right now.
We didn't call the vote.
On what?
What did we
Well, we're
receive?
going to work on continuing, but we haven't
You
got.
can't continue because you haven't taken public
We
comment.
got to ask for public comment, so I'm
so-
not there
I
yet.
thought I said.
If that motion was on the floor, it's not
No, we
valid.
don't have a motion for that yet. We can't even get there.
Was this on 85 that you're going,
Then on P85 for the, hang on, to receive, we're going to make a motion to receive and file and
I need to make.
the paperwork that was submitted to us. First step.
okay, I'll move.
Have a motion for that. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought we
That's
already
for
got a
receiving,
second.
that's for receiving and
I-
filing.
Receiving-
different-
For
different
receiving.
Receiving and file the information put in by Monica Wise today.
All right, District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye, okay. Now, before we could continue this, because it wasn't advertised for continuance, we still would have to call for public comment.
Right.
So,
Mr. Chairman, as in the normal course, if you haven't advertised it as a continuance, I recommend that you give the public an opportunity to speak if they cannot attend the continuance date,
speak
which
today.
is
November 14th at
November
1:30 in Dade
14th.
City.
At 1:30 in Dade City. If they wish to speak now, however, they
Can't speak.
waive their speaking
Like-
at the November meeting. So that's up to the public.
so, that'll be up to the public. So, if anybody cannot make November 14th and does not want to wait till then, you want to come forward to speak, we'll take your public comment now, but you will be precluded from speaking in the future. I recommend from just Monica, and if you really want to speak, I would wait till this goes further.
You can't speak from there.
You cannot speak from there.
You can bring her up to that if she's
If you
got
want
a
to ask a
question.
question, all right, come on up and you can
can-
ask your question.
But she's got to do it on the mic.
Yeah. This won't be part of public comment, you can ask a question. And your
I'm Madonna Wise.
Name and address and
Okay, I'm Madonna Wise, 32907 Leonard Road in San Antonio, Florida.
and you have been sworn.
And I do,
Doesn't-
excuse me?
Doesn't matter.
She's asking
No,
a question, it
right,
doesn't matter
right,
whether
good.
she's been sworn.
Good.
I'm only asking a question. I did provide a packet, and I would like to reserve my right to speak at November, but I wondered if I might orient the group, the commission, to the packet.
You're gonna have to do one-on-one.
I'm sorry?
You'd have to do it
Can't do
one-on-one
both.
with us, but
I could do that. Could I do that? Would that be allowed?
you can talk with us one-on-one, like private meetings we have, you can do those private meetings. But for
Okay.
right now, for public comment, if you
Okay.
speak now, you won't be able to speak later.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes.
If I may, can staff please have one of those packets?
Yes,
So that we
we-
can include it in the record for the next time it comes
Yes.
up?
Jessica.
Thank you.
All right, so is there anyone to speak to this item? Anyone on WebEx?
No, sir.
Okay, and the applicant's good with the continuance? The applicant's nodding in support? Okay, so I have a motion, do I have a motion to continue to November 14th?
Well, you already had that.
There we go.
Which one? 85?
Yeah, let me have it again.
Don't ask me, I'm getting
So
it.
let me have it-
Seth made the motion, I thought.
Well, I had to do it after the
Oh, no,
public
that
comment,
ain't
so I gotta do it now.
I'll make the motion.
So we have a motion.
That's a different one.
Okay, so we have a motion and second to continue to November 14th at 1:30.
Okay.
Roll call.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Okay, thank you all very much. Item P86.
P86 was advertised in the Tampa Bay Times August 23rd, 2023, and by affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Item P86, good afternoon, Liam Devine, Planning and Development. PDD 24-0017, it is the appeal for Planning Commission's decision on April 6, 2023, denying variance petition VA 2103 for a reduction in the front yard setback from 25 feet to 20 feet and a reduction in the side setback from 10 feet to 8.5 feet in an R2 low-density residential district. The subject site is located on the south side of Victoria Road, approximately 215 feet west of Sheffield Road. This is an aerial view of the site. The surrounding future land use is Res 6. The surrounding zoning is R2. This is the site plan with the variance. And this is a site plan without the variance. This should look familiar because during the board hearing on September 5th, the applicant and the neighbor west of the site came to an agreement that the applicant shall provide a culvert, gutters, and downspouts to direct towards the water towards the culvert, architectural features, and landscaping. During that BCC meeting on September 5th, the BCC continued the item to today's meeting in Dade City, so the applicant and the HOA of the Lake Pageant Association can meet and come to an agreement and provide input. On September 11th, the applicant met with the Homeowners Association and came to agreement for the following: gutters and downspouts to direct the water to the front culvert to correct drainage flow and install an underground advanced drainage system, to install a culvert, to plant 2 additional trees, bringing the total number of trees to 3. No additional landscaping, so not to alter the current appearance with the homes in the neighborhood. However, any new homeowner can plant their own landscaping. The applicant, Soho Builders, shall complete an improvement project at the community playground, and then the Homeowners Association did not require any additional architectural features and did not want the garage to be cut off the 5 feet. Again, no new testimony may be heard or presented. Review is limited to the transcript and record from the PC hearing. The BCC may reweigh evidence previously presented at Planning Commission and may modify, adopt, or reverse legal conclusions and conditions of PC. And this is coming with a recommendation from staff to grant the appeal overturning Planning Commission's denial of the variance, as the appellant has complied with the request of the BCC to meet with the HOA and the neighbors addressing their concerns. Additional conditions may be imposed on the appellant as discussed in our agenda memo.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Liam?
No.
No? And Commissioner Bradford, Commissioner Waitman, any questions? Well, Liam, let me say thank you. Great job. This was a tough one for the residents and the builder. Thanks for working it all out.
Thank you. I will say I've had a lot of help with the County Attorney's Office, Elizabeth Blair and Denise Hernandez, so I do want to thank them on that because they helped me present that while I was away last time.
This wasn't an easy one. Thank you.
So we need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, before Liam, so are there any conditions? I don't see an approval document in the package.
There's not an approval document because we are waiting on what your vote would be, but the conditions would be laid out in your finding of facts. number 3, A through F.
Okay. So the conditions that staff is proposing, which to the extent we can,
Yes.
implements the private agreement between the association and the builder, are laid out here. There may be other conditions in their private agreement, but they're not county issues. But what staff has done is they have delineated what we would be looking for, and 3A through F, well, 3A through
I would say,
C.
well, I think E would be included in that.
Okay.
Well,
Those letters under 3 that are conditions would be part of your approval if you decide to set aside the planning commission, overturn the planning commission's denial of variance and grant it. The approval document would reflect those conditions.
correct.
Did I just confuse the board?
No, you did it all.
Okay.
As long as you have us covered.
All right, any further discussion?
I have a question, Chair.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. So, if this house were to ever sell, there won't be any issue selling this house in a second transaction. I just want to confirm, I've lived with them forever, so they cut a deal. I just want to make sure if this thing resells for however long, if it doesn't, there won't be any issues that have to come back before this board.
Once the variance is approved and the appeal time expires and it's recorded, it would travel with land, and future buyers would have the variance. The code is varied as to this particular house as whatever is set out in your variance.
And there is someone signed up for public comment, but from what I understand, we cannot take public comment because we already closed the public comment portion.
Public comment was closed and this was an appeal to
Okay.
start with.
So the person that did sign up, we cannot take any more input. We got to work with what we've got. All right, so is there a motion?
So I'll make a motion to approve their agreement.
Second.
Okay, District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Okay. All set. Well done. Thank you all. And now we'll go to commissioner items. Commissioner
There we
Oakley.
go. All right. Well, I've had a busy month. Probably a busy last couple of weeks. I have a few items this time. We celebrated the reopening of Hugh Embry Library on Thursday, September 21st. Founded in 1904. I believe this to be the oldest library in Pasco County. We have great community involvement, and thank everyone for their involvement they've had to help in this matter when we got it back together. A lot of people missed the library being closed for the renovation, but they're back in force, and they had a great turnout for the ribbon cutting. Did I have pictures for that, or? Eric? Yeah, there you go. All right. There's a ribbon cutting. Very good. I didn't know I was supposed to speak, but I did. Which, when you're a politician, you're always ready, I guess. So, yeah. You can say he's a young man when he started Hugh Embry Library. His dark hair. So, but we had a great turnout. A lot of people there. All right, now we go to my second item was Tampa Bay Water held our 25th anniversary celebration a few weeks back. Friday, September 22nd, we toured the seawater desal plant, and there's pictures there on the right of the plant. And I told you about the possibility of that going to a brackish wells, which would speed up the process and be really, really good for getting more water for our customers. Okay, and then we also toured the regional reservoir and the surface water treatment plant. The reservoir you see at the top picture, and the treatment plant's here on the right picture. But that reservoir is huge. I can't remember exactly, but I believe it's 2 miles across and about 3.5, 4 miles long. Holds 15 billion gallons of water. So we have a lot of water there. So, but then because of that water we have there, and also the desal water, and then water from the bypass canal and all that, we blend all the waters together and come out with one very good tasting water. So our challenges are always coming up with ways to bring in more water for us. So, and that, I can tell you this, we're working very hard to do just that. So, and we'll have, someday in the future, we'll have a little film with some of that film that we had before. I think it's about 1.5 hours or 2 hours long, so we won't be showing that during one of our meetings. But there's pictures of the desal plant right here. So there's pictures of the reservoir. Some of these gentlemen that I actually met there, I didn't know them, but they actually are some of the people that started when they did ended the water wars here in Pasco and Pinellas and Hillsborough County. And they really had a great vision for what we get out of water when they started Tampa Bay Water. It's been very good for Pasco County. And there's very large fish in that reservoir. So, and then we went let's see, October 3rd, we had a ribbon cutting with Premier Community Healthcare, and we were there to speak. We had Commissioner Simpson was there with us and his wife, and we had a grand opening. Now, you can imagine all the health hospitals that we have and we're gaining, because we had Advent Health, we got Baycare came in across the street in Bruce B. Downs. We got Orlando Health coming out on 56. We have another hospital coming on the Spader Wildcat property, or Spader property at Overpass. All children's hospitals hoping to come there. So the benefit of all these hospitals and all the work they did with Premier even, they had the foresight, their directors had the foresight to start this soon enough and in time for the care of our citizens. So they really were thinking ahead, because they got here, but we still have all these other hospitals coming. So our community is going to turn into quite the health industry in one day when everybody gets in and gets settled. So it's great ribbon breaking here where we cut it, so it was good. Let me think. Oh, and I'm going to tell you about Double Branch, but if you really want to remember what it is, for years, at least 30 years of my life or more, could be 50 years, I've heard of this property out here at 52 and 75 on the south side of 52 as being called Pasco Town Center. It's been that for years and years, and they've renamed it to a historical name of Double Branch, which is a name that had been used way back in time in our history. So they named this whole development Double Branch. And can't thank them anymore for what they're doing. That's probably one of the largest mixed-use developments we got going in Pasco County, and it happens to be, I hate to say it, East Pasco in District 1.
This is your district, okay.
And I would tell you that my district's half of the county, but I'm not gonna tell you that today. I'm gonna save that and tell you that some other time. But we got a lot to be thankful for, and there's a lot more development coming into Pasco County, and 78 million square feet of office, and also 101,000 jobs are coming in the pipeline, coming to us, so we can work, play, and live right here in Pasco County without having to live here and then travel somewhere to work. So it's coming our way. So great things. And with that, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Weidman.
I'm going to pass today. I appreciate it, though.
Okay. Commissioner Starkey.
Well, I made some notes, but I don't know where we went, so.
Hey, before you start, can I say one thing? I want to bring up one thing. We all have our own districts, and we work in our districts. So what I'd like to do is ask everybody, if you get a call from my district or anyone else's district, I get a call in my office and it's District 2 or one of the other districts, I refer that call over to that district commissioner for where that's at. And I would appreciate if everybody does that for me at the same time, because there's been some issues that some things have gone without my knowledge, actually. So, okay?
Yeah, I think
we all respect each other's district.
I think we do, and way back when we did the redistricting, we talked about, like, I had the Summertree district, and we're gonna be shifting out of there. And I
Right.
said, everybody respects their own district, but sometimes you do get into something
Yeah.
as well that's.
And if you're going into a district and gonna speak about something, or somebody's asked you specifically to come, just let the district commissioner of that district, let them know you're coming. That would be good, or let their staff know. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, that's it.
I would agree with that, because I think with the mix-up and the confusions, and I'm just looking at some of the letters here, with the problem with the park, in my district, I think that made it more difficult for everybody. So first I want to say, I'm supposed to be on vacation, but here I am because I have an emergency family issue, and so I don't know what's going on with the family member, but I may or may not be able to participate in things after today for a while. We'll see. Also, I have the vertigo, vestibular laryngitis, whatever, and I have massive tinnitus in my head, and it's very distracting. So it's like a horn or a machine. It's just going off 24/7. So it's hard to concentrate. So apologize. Right now, there's nothing they can do about it, but they just hope that it'll go away. But if you ever had that, it's kind of funky. So first, I would start off with talking about the AMP Skills ceremony that we had last week. And I think I have some pictures, 2 pictures. I didn't take a lot of pictures. Oh, someone else did. So there we are cutting the ribbon, and Congressman Bill Arrakis rushed back from Washington, D.C. after the McCarthy debacle to be there to help us celebrate our grand opening. We moved all the training equipment out of the middle and put it into our training rooms to seat 200 people, sold out event. On the stage there, you see the board members. Our current chair, our vice chair, is Leroy. I don't remember Leroy's last name. He is the vice president of manufacturing for Coca-Cola. He's to my left as you're looking at us. Senator Hooper, Representative Yeager. I think Commissioner Waitman's up there. Commissioner Mariano's up there. So I didn't get my piece of ribbon. They were supposed to cut it little pieces and give it to us, and we didn't get it. But I had some. I thought that the gentleman gave, our lead speaker was Mr. Paul Perkins, who came in from Indiana, the CEO of Amatrol, probably the world's largest manufacturing training equipment manufacturer. And he gave us some interesting slides, so I'm hoping that we get them back to PDC. But I just had 3 that I emailed. Did those come in? Okay, because I saw I was, no, not that. They're slides. Like,
I saw I was using maybe a wrong email. There's one. Okay, so if you can make that. So this is, okay, you've gone too fast, but all right, we'll go with that one. Can you make it bigger? Are you able to zoom in on the, well, quit scrolling through them and just pick one and zoom it so I can read it, please. So can you zoom in on the chart? You did wonderful. There you go. Okay, reshoring and foreign direct investment job announcements per year. Look how many jobs are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That's not saying that we're filling them, but that's how many job opportunities we have. This is in manufacturing specifically. And that is insane. Since COVID hit, how many people are saying, we got stuck and we couldn't have the pieces that we need to put what our puzzle together, and we got to bring those back to America and make those here. All right, another job, this one was amazing. This is the trend in rapid technological change. So in 1900s, our knowledge base doubled every century. 1945, every 25 years. In I think that's 82, 12 to 23 months. 12 to 13 months, sorry. Today, our knowledge base doubles every 11 to 12 hours. That is insane. Watch out, artificial intelligence. All right, and one more. Oh, I have two more. That one is, this is what's hurting us in manufacturing. And this is in the country, not here. But 59% said that the number one issue is skilled labor. And then he mentioned that another one there, both number one and number two were had to do with workforce. So we don't have that slide. Okay, I think there's one more. Oh, that's career and technical education. A lot more people are starting to pay attention to career and technical education, and if you see, it's women are really rising in that. A lot less people are heading to 4-year degrees. So we are on top of it here in Pasco County. So the other interesting thing, if you don't mind me saying, is Mr. Perkins, who's one of the world's experts on manufacturing training, said that when they decided they were going to put in 4 regional training centers, they went around the United States and looked at all the programs out there to find the 4 best, and we were number 1.
Well, that's great.
And we were the first one that they went into, and that he thought our program was so good that it should be replicated all across the United States.
And I remember talking to Tom way back when we were up, I think in DC. We talked about how they really liked what we're doing so much that they might want to train other people. I says, well, that's good, but I want to train them somewhere else. Let's train them right here.
Yeah, so Tom went up to Indiana last year with our staff, and we had met the Amatrol folks when we went with Mr. Wanek, the CEO of Ashley Furniture. He flew a whole bunch of us up to Indiana, because they have a great manufacturing program, and Amatrol was there. And when we asked the manufacturers here, what kind of training equipment do you want us to have, because we are industry-led, they picked Amatrol. And so then we went up there and met with them. Well, Tom did, I didn't go. In Indiana, they learned more about us, because the CEO of Amatrol hadn't been there when we went to Indiana. And he's heard nothing but accolades about us, and he came and we saw the result. I think it was.
Jack, Commissioner Stark, it was a tremendous night. You'd be really proud of what was there. Like, it was a packed house, couldn't get any more people in there. In the presentations like this, the people that got to speak about how we helped change their lives was amazing too.
Yeah.
So, great work.
Yeah.
If she's, are you done?
Sure.
Or close to being done? Because you reminded me of another item that I had that I didn't bring up. And the reason you reminded me of it, it was about the Orangeville Trail. So your name just rings out trails. So I thought about it. And we had a meeting last week at San Antonio with the city council had this meeting and we answered their questions, and they were upset people. And I thought I was walking into the room that a lot of upset people because of the trail. And in actuality, they were not upset about the trail at all. They actually want the trail. They just didn't want it meandering down through the small streets and small areas they have through the neighborhoods. They felt that was imposing on their homes and things of that nature. So they were trying to choose that we take it and go back to County Road 52 alignment to Happy Hill, and then across to Blanton Road, Ramsey Road and Blanton Road that way. In the actuality, when you do that, you bring that trail and it can go all the way to Blanton, all the way to Trilby, and connects to the Hardy Trail. And then if you take that point where it hits Blanton Road, on that first hit where you go to Blanton, go right there and connect there back to the Hardy Trail, you have a huge circle.
Yeah,
that's hilly and
want,
straight.
Yeah.
It really connects a lot of things. So.
I have friends that live out here, and I won't put them on the spot here now, but they all are really excited about the trail. And, and I know there are some people who think we're going to come in over their house.
Well, some of them think we're going to take away their land.
Yeah, and we have tried to reassure them that that's not the case. But I am, I thought I was going to be gone until October 23rd, but here I am. So all things go well. They will be driving me around, some of the people here, and I'll be actually driving or riding my bike on some of the alternative routes, so I know the area better.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the area well. But I have a lot of friends who come and cycle out here.
How far do you ride a bike?
Well, I have a pedal assist bike because I would not ride out here up the hills. I'll ride down hills. But with my pedal assist, I can go up the hills.
My wife rides a bike 14 miles.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I can do 40 or 30 or 40 with the pedal
It's amazing.
assist up the hills. But so I do plan to come and look at it more closely. But we don't need to solidify a route today. The routes, it's going to be piece by piece by piece. We don't have the money to build it all.
Right.
And I would imagine that piece out here will be one of the last pieces we do. So it'll be a number of years, and we don't need to have a lot of hysteria about it yet. We'll let it somewhat happen organically. And but this is not uncommon for a trail in any community. This happened in Pinellas County. I will say the people who live in Cypress Run, which is by me, they nixed it coming behind their golf community on the old Orange Belt Trail line, and they regret it now. They thought people were going to jump the fence and rob them and throw TVs over their 10-foot high masonry wall and on the other side of their golf course. I mean, I think they realize now it's an asset to an area. It raises your property values a minimum of 15%. So trails can be just a wonderful thing, but we're not going to force it on anybody, and we'll find our route here.
Oh yeah.
That will make people.
It'll work out.
So. I wish I had my notes in better order. I had written some things down here. We talked about the food ordinance last time, the truck ordinance, food truck ordinance, about taking a tweak at that. We talked about the landscaping grant, to tweak that maybe to include affordable housing projects. Did we talk about that last time? Did I?
I don't remember talking about that.
So we have $3 million in our trust fund, and it grows steadily. We need to get that money back into the communities with trees planted, in my opinion.
And small businesses too.
Huh?
And there's money there for small businesses to do landscaping.
Yes, we have a grant program for people who, get caught in that 50% rule, so now you have to comply with the county rules. So we have the ability to help them pay for their landscaping. But I think that we should be, I don't think we have well, I think we do have an arborist on staff, actually. I think you have a tree arbor. You? Okay, yeah. So there are many places where we can be going in and planting trees. And I personally, it kills me to see a grand oak get knocked down. And there's so much wildlife that lives in an oak tree. I read somewhere it supports like 500 species, where a palm tree, I say, just supports cockroaches and rats. So we need to be putting our tree canopy back in. And if you look at what a lot of cities are doing, especially you're doing a lot of the resilience stuff, one of the best ways to cool things down is putting your tree canopy back in and shading your parking lots and shading your houses and shading your walkways. And when we walked the other day, when we had lunch in the utilities building, and we walked back, it was a very uninspiring walk when it could have been nice. And we have the money, let's put it to work. I know there were other things that I wanted
Well,
to.
while you're on that subject, though?
Yeah.
So, and I was looking at an affordable housing project up in Hudson that wanted to get the trees, and it was a struggle to do it. So
We should be able to.
if we could, Mike, let's get with staff to go bring back some less strict language to go change this, because any affordable housing project we got, especially it's already built that doesn't have any trees around it, we should be putting those trees in.
Yeah.
Any county park we have, we should go in. Anybody with a business, let's say on 19, 301, even 41 that needs the help, let's go get those trees, because
those funds are there for like help on landscape and all, but a lot of people don't know about it.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I don't know how we bring it up to their attention, but somehow we need to explain, I guess in our advertisement when we have it on our website or something, that will show that.
Yeah, and the purpose of the ordinance was to put a tax on trees being taken down so you could replant them. So by making it too tough to get the money out, it's tough. Now, we can't have every residence going to do it, but any business that's coming in, we should help them with an incentive. That's an easy way to do it that doesn't cost any money from the general fund.
Right.
All right, so Mike, if you can work on that, perfect.
I don't know why, my staff said someone told them that the only place it can go is for redevelopment. I said, no, it can go in any county-owned property, plus redevelopment, that's just a small portion of what we're using it for. But I think we should expand it to affordable housing.
Okay.
And work for it. And I think like for habitat, I mean, let's give them a tree. Let's pay for them to put a tree in the yard.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I just got a call and a text from Secretary Gwynn, and it's, this is kind of going out to David, and they're asking if we can have the regional MPO MOU at the MPO meeting on Thursday. So apparently Jeff said you guys got it Friday?
It came in after we assigned RLSs on Friday, so it was assigned yesterday afternoon.
Okay, assigned to, I mean, what do you have to do?
Well, the problem is it has no legal review, and it is not really an MOU.
Oh, well, it's been approved by Hillsborough. No, it will be voted on tomorrow by Hillsborough and Pinellas. And so we need it at our.
On their MPO?
It's that one that.
Is it the one that want to be a part of that research?
It's the research, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a.
We should be a part of that.
It's actually required by the legislature.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. We should be a part of that, and I think it's set up, we can do that on Thursday.
We actually tweaked it at the TMA to make it even a little better. Jack, you were on the line. And Seth was online. So, I mean, I'm good with it to move forward. And
yeah.
Of course, it's our.
The problem is if it is a memorandum of understanding, then why does it have venue provisions about who's going to sue who where? That, it particular pet peeve, if it's a memorandum of understanding, it's aspirational. If it's an agreement and you want it to have teeth, it should have teeth, but those are two separate legal reviews.
I don't recall seeing anything about suing with the stuff we looked at.
Yeah, I didn't see that either, but we wouldn't be suing during a study.
Yeah.
So it's not the final MOU, and I think we can work on all that.
Well, is it the final?
No. It's
well, then
not.
what do you want presented? That's.
All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't, Jeff, if you would send to us, or Mike, send to us what we're going to be looking at, and we can give you our comments, because obviously the meeting will be over by then, and see what happens Thursday. At least we can review it ahead of time, share it with all the board members.
I mean,
But
we
yeah,
can,
I don't,
we
I
can
remember
strike
just,
through provisions that we don't think should be in it, but now I'm hearing that Pinellas and Hillsborough, it's in final form for them.
Just as
I don't think it's in final.
No, well, no, they're voting on it tomorrow.
They're voting to be in the study of the MPOs being a regional MPO.
To study it,
To
not
study
to be
it.
one,
Only
just to
to study
study
it.
it.
That's correct.
It's
Not to
not
do
a
it.
final document.
It's
Right.
not a final document.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just, yes.
And we should be a part of the study.
I mean, call Secretary Quinn if you
Whether
guys
we're
need
part of the
him,
whole thing or
or
not.
whoever his point person is, but he's the one calling me, he's called me twice.
He was just calling me too, so.
Yeah. So, all right,
Well, where's it been?
okay, so this is the before and after of the Burger King on US 19. And, you can see, we did such a good deal with this guy. So he remodeled his building, and he came in, I wish these power poles were down, but he came in all upset because he actually had started his remodel before the sign ordinance changed, but he got caught in that improvement that we made in it, and didn't realize that he was gonna have to change his sign, and it was a new sign. A new face that was up on that tall one. Well, you can't even see the tall one. His sign was so high, you couldn't see it when you were anywhere near. You only could see it way down the road. So I want to thank our staff for working with him. And we saved him so much money because we just let him take his sign faces that he already had done, and we just turned them into monument signs. And
That's
they-
what, so the one
They
on the
are so
right,
much more noticeable than the sign way up in the air. So those are the two signs that he had. And he just got rid of the poles and put the sign face, and it fit just great into monument signs. So I wanted to show that to you. And in his remodel, you see, he brought his building a little closer to the street. And so look at it next time you're driving down 19th Avenue. You'll remember that this is right there in Holiday.
Mhm.
It was a sign I was very anxious to see change because everyone else that's coming in is, putting in the 11-foot sign, and this guy was way higher than everybody else. So it was a little unfair advantage, and as you can see, you can see it great. It's very noticeable. So he's very happy. So I have something on golf carts, and I don't know if Katie emailed you the map, but we're not the only community that's having this problem, but in Gulf Harbors, did you get a map from Katie, my aide Katie Dolotowski on the entrance to Gulf Harbors? Okay, if you could just go to Google Earth on 19 and Florimar, we have this weird situation where the road is Venkat, he's not here. The Florimar is a county road, and then you have that construction office on the corner.
Mhm.
That little piece of that road, I don't even know if it has a name, it's in front of it, is county, and then it comes to the city property, and there's Widow Fletcher's. So the sheriff is ticketing our golf cart residents because of that little strip between Florimar and the restaurant. And it's a side road. It's not even
Yeah, it's a frontage road.
it's a frontage road. And they're all getting ticketed. Can you please put up Google Earth on Florimar? And I just can't believe that there isn't better things to do.
Yeah.
And if need be, I would say, let's vacate that road, give it to the county. I mean, give it to the city, because then it's continued.
Just let Venkat make it a golf cart accessible.
Well, I don't know why, we've had this discussion for years, and we thought it was all taken care of, and now they're in there giving people expensive tickets, so.
He can add that really
He
easy.
said it's gonna take weeks for him to find the answer, and people are getting ticketed every day.
Okay, well, I'm not aware of it. I'll follow up with Venkat. For the
need-
sake of your
You need Google Earth.
Florimar and what was the intersection?
It's Flormar 19.
Okay,
Well,
Flor-
kind of 19. You need to zoom in on it. What are we doing here? Because we're way too south.
Keep going north. There you go.
Okay, now go up, just, there you go. Now, can you go to Google Satellite or, there we go. Okay, and zoom in, and you'll see Flormar. And then, I think you should zoom in just a little more. And then center this 19, nope, other way. There you go. And zoom in just a little bit more. You'll see Flormar comes in to 19. Oh, they call it Flormar Terrace, look at that.
There you go.
Weird. So that Flormar Terrace going north-south, the portion from Flormar Terrace to just in front of that round building is the county, and then you hit the city of Newport Richey, and that's where people are getting, ticketed. On that road right there,
It's a nice, quiet little road.
yeah, and if you turn around the other way to where that car is, that's the ticket zone. Because it's not in the Gulf Harbor's neighborhood, and it's not in the city.
Man, just have Venkat change that, so it should be easy.
So how do we, is that a problem since it's not in the neighborhood?
It's got to go through the golf cart authorization process.
There's a process for that.
Well,
But
because Gulf Harbors is a golf cart
is the-
community, we already did that.
Is the rest of this property cities?
Where the blacktop starts there, where that grass starts, that is the city, right up here.
There?
That, on the other side, that's the, right here
There.
is the city.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing to.
Yeah,
Okay.
this end, not even that
Oh.
end, that end. So,
So is the issue because it's in the city? In the city is
no,
okay.
city's a golf cart city.
Okay.
It's, the issue is that 100-foot strip they're saying is outside of Gulf Harbors.
Who's issuing citations? PSO?
Sheriff.
What's on,
So we can vacate that and give it to the city.
we don't have to.
Well, you wouldn't
Venkat can add
vacate-
it in. Venkat can add it in, just like he's done it elsewhere. Like he started in Hudson, he started one section, then there was another connecting piece, put one connecting piece in, put another connecting piece in. He can add that in, he's probably done that part of the study.
I'll gladly give a road to the city, though.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, if it's only a 100-foot strip, we probably should.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
We'll
Just
work
make
the
a little
process.
adjustment on it, real easy. Venkat can do it.
All right, so bringing that to your attention, and,
What district is that in?
Yeah, that is yours, isn't it? I guess it's because it's the Gulf Harbors, people, they're calling me.
It's close, it's either
But
Bird
you-
Parkway or the.
I am
but
welcome to hand it over to you. It's yours now. And you guys already heard me talk about what's coming, to the Starkey TLC, Carlton Ward Jr. It's gonna be a fantastic event. It's gonna be outside, so you bring your own chairs, 'cause we're gonna have lots and lots and lots of people.
All right, anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, Commissioner Bradford. He probably got offline. Appreciate him staying as long as he did. Should have come. Next time I'm going to go to him first. I've got one item. Actually, I got a couple items, but one of them is
Go
a.
to the administrator?
Oh,
I got it.
I'm sorry. County administrator. Sorry.
Thanks, Jeff.
We were here for so long.
But you're losing a quorum.
All right, county
Yeah, because I
administrator.
actually, well, I do need to vote on one thing, so
Commissioner
we can
Whitman there?
skip over.
I already.
Is he gone? Commissioner Waitman?
Yeah, Commissioner Waitman.
Commissioner Waitman, still
He
there?
can come back, but he wasn't feeling well, so he dropped off.
Yeah, I probably got it.
Let's wait until
Enough
Commissioner
rambling going on.
Oakley comes back.
All right, so I'll go to the county attorney.
Well, I actually need you to vote as well.
Okay.
Or at least give me consensus. I need a litigation assessment. As the board is probably aware, you authorized me some time back, apropos of this morning's discussion, to engage outside counsel for the, I keep wanting to say PVAS, but it's PFAS litigation, the styrofoam litigation that is ongoing. There are settlements that have been proposed by 3M and DuPont. Outside counsel would like to meet with you in a litigation assessment meeting. I would propose, based on chair's absence at the next meeting, and if that's still on the cards, and the fact that we've got a bond signing over the break, to do it on the November 14th meeting during your, either immediately after morning business or at lunch.
I'd say let's do lunch.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
immediately
okay.
after the,
Okay.
if you get done early, we'll be ready
I like
to do
that.
it.
Okay.
Or whenever you break for lunch, that'll be the first. We'll get you in and get you out.
Right.
But if that's acceptable to the board, we'll take care of the necessary processes to do the litigation assessment meeting for that meeting.
So Commissioner Oakley, we're looking to have a meeting for litigation assessment on November 14th, as soon as we're done with the morning part of the meeting or at the lunch break.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here you go.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay. Mr. Administrator.
So one good news item, but let me start with the voting item here. So item C11 on this morning's consent had a Scrivener's error in it, and I just need to formally advise the board and just ask you to accept this. The September 3rd hearing at 9 a.m. was incorrectly labeled with the location of Newport Richey, but the meeting should be correctly labeled to reflect Dade City or DC. If I could just vote to accept that and change the record, that would be great.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Actually, there's no one.
Actually, there's no one on
the
WebEx.
line. Okay.
Commissioner Wade, pop back on.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman. That was an aye.
Yeah, he said aye.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford. District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye.
And then I'd also like to just publicly recognize Dr. Whitney Elmore, Cooperative Extension, and Sonia Nace, who will receive the Excellence in Community Development Team Award. This is for their outstanding work in teaching mental health first aid in Pasco County. Mental health continues to be an issue that affects first responders, employees, and just people in alike. And so this course is an amazing 8-hour course that teaches folks how to recognize signs and, more importantly, what to do to help folks. So we just want to congratulate them for their outstanding work in that area and in that field. So that's all I have.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
Okay. All right, so I have 2 items. The first one is a new partnership that the board might be interested in. So many of our customers pay in cash. In fact, many of them don't have a bank account. So when they get paid by check, they use services like a cash checking service like an AmScot. And so we partnered with AmScot, and when the customers cash out their checks, AmScot can look and see if they have a pending traffic infraction case with our office. And AmScot can process payment for that infraction. So partnering with them allows us to expand services to customers without increasing costs. So it's a new service. Just wanted to make the board aware of that. And then the second item is the clerk sent an email to the board yesterday afternoon. You have a copy on the dais. She sent a letter requesting clarification on the budget cuts from the budget public hearings on the 19th. A revised Table 2 was submitted to our office after the budget hearing, and it's unclear if the expenditure cuts are consistent with the intent of the board's motion at the hearing. It appears that 100% of the board's cuts were taken out of reserves, while the constitutional's cuts were taken out of their operating budget, and the clerk is asking for clarification.
Who said that?
It appears, and it is hard to tell, and so we are asking for clarification.
I thought the cut came from each department.
Yeah, we cut it evenly.
So we cut evenly, that is correct. And then as far as each share, I think the board's direction to me was to use my discretion on that. So I did elect to take the board's cuts from reserves this year with the intent of replenishing that with the increase in taxable assessed value for the following year. So, I mean, if the board would like the cuts to come operationally, we can certainly make those cuts. So that was the intent. I just saw the letter this morning, so I'm happy to go through it and look through those things. But If the board wants to have further discussion on it, I'm going to need time to look through that and go.
Can you explain that again? You're saying you're taking all of it out of reserves?
No,
Or just our part?
I took the board's portion of
Okay,
that.
and what the other ones want to do?
They can handle. Now, the others don't necessarily have reserves that
We
they
are
can
not
cut
allowed to
into,
use
but
those.
that's a tool that I have at my disposal, so I used it.
We are
Too
not.
bad Seth isn't on the call for this discussion.
No, Seth's right here.
Oh, he is? Seth?
I'm here.
Okay.
What's the question?
Well, there's no question really, I guess.
No, I mean, I'm happy to review the letter and go through it with our budget team and come back, so we can have the discussion at a future board meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm okay with him having flexibility.
Yeah, that's Mike's job. Trustee committee to figure that out.
Okay.
Well, okay, so let me bring something up, since we're talking about money and budgets. I got a call from Alex Deeb, and I know I talked to Eric about this. So 2 years ago, Ms. Biles started on a path to help Animal Services with a capital project. That we started down the path. Apparently they need a facility. Eric probably knows more about it than I do. And so I asked Eric to do a little research into it, because what Mr. Deeb told me was that one half of the funding was for the design was to be in the 22 budget. The other half of that design was to be in the 23 budget, working its way to a capital building that Animal Service apparently has been asking for a while. So Mr. Deeb had been asking me if I would help to make sure that that building got built, and I suggested there's grant money out there, let's be ready to ask for some money to help build that building. And he said, and I don't know if it's true or not, you have to have the design part done before you can ask for some money. So so then I called you, but you were busy. So Eric and I had a conversation, and he did some research. Can you fill us in on the spot?
I'll do my best, ma'am. Eric Recklock, Assistant County Administrator, Internal Services. Commissioner Stark is correct for the FY23 budget. Mr. Lyle set aside approximately half of what it was needed to perform the design of the Animal Services expansion building. With the plan at the time to have the second half of that money appropriated in the FY24 budget. The FY24 appropriations do not include the design money because of the fiscal challenges we encountered in preparing the budget. What has been accomplished thus far with the design money set aside in FY23 is conceptual and schematic design that is accomplished. So there's, to take the design further to construction documents, additional money would be required.
So what I understood was it was like 240, 280,000?
264, I thought.
It's approximately $240,000.
Okay, and we gave half of it. We budgeted half of that design in 22. Were you involved in this? Because I had no knowledge.
No.
Okay,
I was involved in the conversation with Mr. Deeb.
okay.
Yeah.
And so we budgeted 120-something thousand, and we got 10%. We budgeted half the money, we got 10% of what we needed. I don't understand what happened there.
So I think what Administrator Biles had put forward was just it was like Eric said, it was a conceptual design. There's efficiencies if you do an entire design all at one time. If you kind of piecemeal things, they cost a little bit more, but I think it was a cash flow issue. So I think we're at a point where, I think to Mr. Deeb's point in his conversations with you individually, that we need about $250,000 to take what's been done, turn it into buildable plans, which then become a shovel-ready project, if you will, barring permits and other things. But the simple fact is we did have to remove it from the 24 budget. It doesn't mean that you can't. It's a one-time capital expense. Those are usually the first things that we cancel. So we would either need to replace something in the existing budget, or again, you draw from reserves to pay for it. Unless Eric, there's...
Sir, that's correct. For the record, the amount budgeted in FY23 was $200,000. A task order to accomplished conceptual design, schematic drawings, and all necessary surveying and geotechnical testing of the soil was issued in FY23. That amounted to about just shy of $85,000. So the balance was carried forward, but we still need the $240,000 to complete the amount to finish the design. And so when I told you, ma'am, it was roughly 10%. That included all geotechnical work, et cetera.
And so that fell out of this year's budget.
That's correct, yeah.
These are our wonderful budget dilemmas.
From what I hear from the same conversations, there's a will in the legislature to try to get this funded, but we can't get it funded unless we do the design. Maybe we can have you bring an agenda item back to us, say first part of November, and then let's take a look at it, see what it takes to get us to design when we can have a shovel-ready project. Because as we heard from the legislative delegation, they clearly said they're looking for projects they can get funded shovel-ready.
Is this something?
I'm looking forward to your report because I didn't make it to it.
Would the board be looking for a recommendation of a project to replace, or would the board be looking more interested in just doing a budget amendment to take from reserves to pay for the design?
I'm flexible with whatever you want to bring back to us.
We'll bring back options. Thank you.
So, for
He's
clarity.
going to get back.
For clarity, we've given him flexibility to do what he wants to do with his budget, whether he does reserves or whatever.
So, board's out of reserves, the Constitution outside of their operating budget. That
Right.
is.
Yep.
All right, I'm anxious to hear your report.
All right, so legislative delegation, I'll touch on that first. It was a good presentation as far as they listened to everything we said. A lot of discussions honed into if we're going to fund projects, we want to make sure they're shovel ready. Representative Maggard actually talked about roads, having them ready to go, so getting the design is what's key to get these things funded. They didn't want to put a project through that takes a long time to get through. You know, we've had trouble with sometimes swift mud projects, getting them done. By the time we get it designed, because of different reasons, they take so long, it looks bad on them, they don't like it. The representatives feel the same way. They want to get projects that are shovel ready to go. And that'll be the easy way to go. So everything we look at, and this is one of those projects.
So did we, and Ralph is here, I guess, we put forward our 3 or 4 or whatever was, I think I have it written here.
Yeah, we gave them the list. Question come down to bottom line, is it shovel ready? So whatever it may be, Ralph's coming forward.
Are they shovel ready? Did we give them, I mean, we were told to give them shovel ready stuff, so hopefully we did. That wasn't really a secret.
Ralph Laren, a Governmental Affairs Officer. So yes, the projects you all selected are all shovel-ready. And again, I'll repeat those. Sea Pines Neighborhood Flood Abatement, Parkway Boulevard through Lake Padgett, the sidewalk, and the Trilby Road rehabilitation.
Well, we also said.
You also included the sidewalk over on the west side. The sponsors that have that road chose not to do that sidewalk.
Oh, really?
So you'd either have to do 4 projects, or they're gonna just do the one in the
We
center.
couldn't call one a sidewalk?
No.
Okay. So nothing in, okay, all right. Nothing in the center.
You have one in west, you have one in central, and you have one in east.
District.
Okay? You have one in west.
Okay, remember me next year.
I
saying.
did say if they did have a project they really liked, they wanted to bring it forward, we can go bring it forward too. So whatever's going to get them fired up to go get us money, wherever it may come from, we're flexible.
And then Representative Maggard, as I told you, so he did not name a project by name. He just said when we go up to Tallahassee, he would like to make sure before we start asking for any additional funding, we make sure we complete projects previously funded in previous years.
Do we have things that are outstanding?
We have one,
And what's that?
Ankar Road.
And what's going on?
They're getting ready to award the bid to put it out for construction.
Okay,
That's pretty good.
That's water and sewer.
That's a water and sewer line.
Water and sewer line.
okay, when you're done, that reminded me, I'm gonna bring back some. Sorry. It's Branford's. I see him sitting there. I think that's better.
Okay, thank you, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph.
All right, I've got something that I hope you guys have been informed with to some degree. Terry, I'm going to probably need you here for this item. It was on Suncoast Parkway. It's a recommended LDC change to allow RV boat storage along the Suncoast Parkway. Not building structures, just storage. Right now, the way it's set up, Commissioner Starkey, important for you to hear this. Currently, covered and open storage is prohibited on transit corridors within 300 feet of the corridor. Along the Suncoast Parkway for the segment of the transit corridor that is north of State Road 52 within the urban service area, open RV boat storage may be allowed via special exception within the 300-foot buffer of that portion of the transit corridor if the parcel or portion of that parcel is Zone C3, Commercial Light Manufacturing District, I-1 Light Industrial Park District, or I-2 Heavy Industrial Park District. So, Terry, if you kind of elaborate how this would help.
Well, can I tell you why this is even in here? Why we have this rule? Because the Suncoast corridor is considered a scenic corridor. There's all these rules that come from the state for designated scenic corridors. And so that is one of the restrictions in preserving the aesthetics of the corridor. So I would be against doing this.
If you drive up to the north and go into Hernando County,
They're not
there.
No, they're not the scenic corridor. Pasco County is.
All right, so I'd rather bring jobs. I'd rather bring
I don't
opportunities.
mind bringing jobs.
Well, this lets a landowner just got to do something with his property, otherwise it
He
sits.
just has to leave a very treed buffer so we don't see all that junk from the.
We can
the
put
Suncoast.
money in for the landscaping owners and go get them trees too.
That's why there's the buffer. I just would be opposed to it unless, I just would be opposed to it. I don't want to have that look on that beautiful road. I worked really hard with a lot of people to get that designated as a scenic corridor. It's a beautiful road.
But from the part we're talking about all the way down is all industrial. We're creating jobs in that whole area, up and down. I mean, I'd rather see.
It doesn't have to be smushed up against the road. Can you tell me where the site is?
Terry, can you just talk about what the prohibition is about, just for the benefit of the board, what it is and what it isn't?
So the particular code section, I believe, is section 1105.5 G3, which notes that covered and open storage is not allowed within 300 feet of transit corridors. Transit corridors are a number of different road types that crisscross the county. In this particular case, we're focused on the Suncoast Parkway north of State Road 52. The intent, when the ordinance was first created, the intent was to establish a zone, if you will, a belt between the transit corridor and where self-storage facilities would be allowed to go. So within that 300 feet, we would not allow open or covered storage. That could happen beyond the 300 feet. The preservation of those 300 feet, the initial or the primary reason was for the preservation of employment generating land uses, area or space for those to actually locate and front the transit corridor, similar to how you see Nutley, Toledo, or some of the other major users that are along the Suncoast or that may front along I-75 and so on and so forth. The second was an aesthetic reason, which included not having to see large areas of stored vehicles from the corridors, thoroughfares that enter into the county. In this particular case, along the Suncoast, you're coming into Pasco, and the idea was people should have a good idea of what Pasco is, an active, vibrant, employment-generating space versus open or covered storage.
There are no jobs, but one, because we run one at Amsco, generated from a boat car storage facility. One. It's the person who manages the in and out and the monthly collection.
So that's not a job, you know, they're definitely needed in Awana, but I can't say that the argument for why to destroy the scenic quality of the Suncoast is for jobs. That wouldn't create any jobs for one.
Well, it does something else as well, this particular site. This is right next to the Dell website that's gonna have the retirement community, that's gonna have that trail going up through it. Well, this thing is the hinge pin of that trail. If this doesn't go, it doesn't connect to the school.
Just like they can find another place to park all their boats and
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If I may add also, so the section 1105 was added to the Land Development Code in 2019. Perhaps it was 2 or 3 years later, an additional amendment was made to the Land Development Code as it relates to self-storage facilities, wherein the I-1 and C3 zoning districts, the ability to do outdoor storage of boats and RVs and that sort of thing was allowed via special exception. And so you have this provision in the I-1 and C3 zoning districts that you can do this via special exception. The logic of that follow-up amendment to the Land Development Code was to essentially land bank or allow a land banking activity to take place on those properties that don't have industrial development yet ready to go, basically. And so there is a strategy in preserving I-1 and C3 for a limited period of time by allowing RV boat storage on those properties.
I can see that in places where appropriate. Yeah, because it's not probably the highest use for certain pieces of land. But I will also tell you, for example, driving down Massachusetts and that new one that's there on the left, where they take out every single tree. I mean, it's not like it's a landscaped parking lot where there's a tree, what reason do we have for RV boat storage at any landscaping or anything?
I would have to check that.
There's none. They'll
Yeah.
just do the perimeter. There's no requirements inside, right, Brad?
The only thing that I would say is that via the special exception, you could require additional landscaping as a condition of approval.
I haven't seen one yet that looks very good. And as a matter of fact, I have someone on State Road 54 in Trinity who's contacted me about getting rid of the business that he has right on 54 in Trinity and turning it into an RV boat storage right there. I said, please don't do that. That's just not the highest and best use for your property in the heart of Trinity on 54. And so it makes me wonder if we shouldn't be improving the areas where those can go. I don't think they should be on 54 or in certain places where we want, a different kind of opportunity than a junk. They really kind of look like junkyards.
Well, I think it's land banking. So if someone comes in and wants to go build another factory, you can go do it. I don't know if this piece is even big enough for it, though.
I'm sorry?
How big is this piece? Couple acres?
Or you're talking about at Shady Hills and Suncoast?
With this property here?
Yeah, I think we would check the map. I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, so once you do that, that's the end of our scenic protection.
Commissioner Stark, remember I showed you the pictures of Switzerland? I showed the roadway, the scenic place,
Yeah, and they have their little farms along the edge.
and they had businesses along the edge too. They mixed them in.
Yeah, this isn't that. I'm all for businesses. I mean, Butler Toledo or Touch Point somewhat backs up to the Suncoast, and we worked with them to keep a buffer. And I worked with the preserve to go back in and replace some of the trees between their fence and the Suncoast so that tree canopy built up again. When you drive the Suncoast, it's a beautiful road. And it speaks well to our county. They already cleared it. Oh, other side. I don't even think they should be on, almost wonder if they should even be on main arterials. They should be off the road. Main roads. They don't generate jobs.
So, Commissioner, the answer to your question,
Already
how big
building
is
on
the
that,
parcel, is
what's
12.4 acres.
That's Gary's Plastics to the left, right?
That's correct.
I hope they're keeping their buffer, their landscape buffer. I mean, that's something that planning or whoever gives them approvals, they gotta make sure they're keeping that buffer between them and the Suncoast.
The Suncoast does have buffer built into its right-of-way, but the Land Development Code would add additional buffer on the site of the particular development.
Yeah, so that Gary Plastics needs to be buffered on its eastern side pretty well.
How tall the tree's gonna be if the Gary's Plastics is gonna build?
It's not that, it's that road has to have a certain feel when you're driving on it and you're riding your bike down it, so that it's not like you're riding by junkyards and.
But you got 300 acres of industrial land going beside it. What do you think's gonna be there? It's gonna be businesses.
I hope nice trees along there, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, and I'm hoping our staff knows that. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm saying the buildings will be taller, even with your landscaping ordinance, those trees when they go in,
Let
can
me
be
see
as
if
tall
I
as a
can
building
drop a
anyway.
pin on the Suncoast and touch point now.
A question
Commissioner Waitman,
there. What's this building? It looks like a commercial building. It looks like it has some height to it.
yeah, I believe that's Gary's Plastics, and it does have a lot of height to it.
I mean, to keep a buffer and allow them to use a property that's right next to it. I don't really understand this rule. We allow a plastic industrial site there right next to it. It's just, you would think business would be able to use their land. I don't know the rules that Commissioner Stark asked me. I didn't get a lesson on that, but
It looks like they left a large vegetation. Commissioner Waitman, it looks like they left a large vegetation there.
And if you restrict height, the height on it, you have a buffer, and it allows them to use the land that's kind of tucked back and hidden. It's an industrial corridor.
When you drive by Suncoast, you see Metler Toledo, do you see a big buffer?
There's,
You see the buildings?
No, it's that's touch point, and the trees are growing here. They're not grown up yet, but they're growing.
Toledo's got a
But there's a
buffer.
difference between,
Right, but
between
it's
seeing
got
a
a building too.
building and
Yeah, you see the
seeing,
building, but you got a
but
buffer.
seeing a RV and boat storage, that's different than seeing a building.
If you put-
And it looks to me like it's parking lots over there and it's buildings to the left.
If you put a buffer in, just like Metler Toledo's done, just like Gary's Plastics is gonna do, and you have the RV boat storage, as those trees grow up, guess what? You'll see less of the RV storage, because the trees will cover it anyway.
I just don't want to lose that, I'm going to vote against it. I don't want to destroy what we've built so preciously along the Suncoast. I want staff to be sure that they're requiring these, making sure there's nice thick buffers between anything that goes along that western side of the trail. Because what DOT has isn't enough. We have to make sure that they're adding a nice layer of trees, and if Touch Point doesn't have enough, I'm good friends with them and I'll get them to put some more in. But we want to preserve that very nice asset for this county, in my opinion. There's lots of places to put RV and boat storage.
All right, Terry, I want you to bring something back. Let's do the comparisons. Let's show what the corridor means. Let's go look at the visuals, show me street side as well as everything else, and bring this back as an agenda item so we look at it. I don't want to make a decision now no one's comfortable enough with it yet, but I think it's worth the discussion, because if we're gonna take, when Bexley was coming in, and we knew all this development was coming in, all the way through, and we put a specific extension of the industrial property up to this area, so that we could create jobs in this area supporting Moffett from down below, and now we're gonna block it all off? I wanna go study it and go look at it, even if it's up to this
I
this
think there's
point.
an industrial building there.
Okay, so like I say, I wanna go,
Not
I
okay
wanna,
with
I wanna, I wanna
a
relook at the whole
junkyard,
thing.
Basically.
Junkyard with
Well, that's what they
these
look
and
like.
boats?
They're not nice looking. You show me a picture of one that looks good. And then we can talk. And maybe there's some out there. Amsco's has the best looking one, but we have a paved parking lot and a landscape parking lot because we're just temporary. But the other ones, if you go look at what's on right down the street, in Trinity, or where our other offices, if you go down Massachusetts and you look to the left, it's not a pretty sight. Never mind if the landscaping's on the inside of the chain link fence. But it's just looks like a flea market or a junkyard. It's not anything attractive. Maybe we can find a way to control the aesthetics of those a little bit.
Maybe you can
There's a way.
bring something, yeah, so bring something back with options we could have.
I didn't catch what the commissioner just control the what?
What?
The aesthetics, the look.
The aesthetics,
Improve-
control the aesthetics.
Yeah, that they don't look like, they look, because we have no rules, we really have no rules on them. No.
Yes, I can bring back a report on what we do regulate in terms of the open storage and look at the existing conditions on the ground
Okay.
in the area. And if there's a need for further amendment, we can pursue that as well.
Okay.
And maybe there's a way to fix the aesthetics. That's what I care about, is making sure that we don't turn a beautiful road into something not beautiful.
If I can create jobs, I want to take a look at creating jobs.
It's not a job, it's one job.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, but
Lose
I'm
on
just
that
saying,
argument.
I am saying the scenic corridor rules along the Suncoast Parkway, especially in this part of it right here, could restrict jobs coming in from land that's been zoned industrial.
Not really, because we have industrial along it.
I just want to bring it back so we can study it, because I want to look at this whole thing so we can have a clear discussion, know exactly what we're looking at and what the effects are of the ordinance we put in place, that we didn't have to. Thank you. So I missed the premiere opening.
Yeah.
I had gone to a brownfield opening, a brownfield meeting down in Tampa. Phenomenal meeting, found out our staff is actually at top of brownfields. So that industrial park in Hudson has got a good chance to get added to the piece, and hopefully that can come along. If you would, could you put up the pictures of Green Key? You've heard Mrs. Orchard come before us before, Mrs. Status as well, or the lady on Status Lane. This is right down by where they are. And it's just coming into play now.
There's no attachments to the email you sent me.
No attachments?
No, sir.
Okay. Anyways, so there's a homeless camp going on to the east of Heavenly Way, just starting to grow, Mike, and it's right on the roadway. And trash, canals, waterways, et cetera, all getting affected by what's going on there. So if you could, let's get the team out there to take a look at it. On May 9th and 10th, the Regional Resiliency Leadership Summit for the region, from the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Coalition will be starting this coming year again. They've actually got their flyers out already, so hopefully we'll set up with some sponsors. Yeah, so they did good this time. They're ahead of the game. So May 9th, 10th, if you can make it. Mike, if you could put that in your calendar again, we'd greatly appreciate it. We've had great response from the community. As we're doing our studies for resiliency, everything we're learning is great, and we're getting a lot of participation along. We figured this year, because the legislature we've done, we make a lot of state legislative really watching what we're doing as well. And does anybody else have anything for the go to the order?
Yes, I had something, and I have to find my notes too. Okay, I'm trying to remember what it was. I wrote a note, but I didn't give myself good enough notes. Oh, I know what it was, because it has to do with Branford. So last year, on
we approved money to fix the medians in our roads. And now we're in years gone by, and where are we with that? Because we haven't done one improvement yet.
You say fixed medians, are we talking landscaping?
Yeah,
Okay.
we put $1 million in the budget. And we haven't started yet. And I don't know, is that a contract problem, a procurement problem, a staffing problem?
I know we were doing some design work, so, but I'll let Brentford elaborate.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Brentford Adumo, Assistant County Administrator. Yes, exactly what the county administrator said. You know, the architect is in the process of designing the median, and then we're going to come back and construct from the design. So I think last time we met with you, we made sure that we just don't go out there and start replacing and fixing this median, that they need to be redesigned by a landscape architect, and that's what exactly we are doing. A contract has been issued, and they are in the process of finishing the design.
So we hired the landscape architect?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he's in the design process?
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole,
And in this fiscal year, will we see
no.
action?
No.
In 2024?
Yeah, the 5-year plan, that I think we shared with you.
It was road.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
5-year plan we shared with you, it's you design 1 year and then you construct the following year. And during construction, you design another section and then you construct the following year.
Government.
So that, yeah. So in this fiscal year of 2024, that's our fiscal year, right?
We just started fiscal year
are gonna
24.
plan something that with the money we gave you in the 2023 budget.
Is it 23 or 22?
We will come back to you,
Well, there's some money you have sitting there to use for something.
so we will come back to you with the schedule that shows it. I know there was an agenda item a few cycles ago where we hired the landscape architect to do some design. I think it was on Little Road.
Yes, I think we started a little bit late because, as I mentioned, there were some people who we lost, in the public works department left. So it delayed the start of the design. So otherwise, the intention was to finish the design last fiscal year and then to do the construction this year. So this fiscal year. So we plan to finish the design early this fiscal year and then plan on doing the construction the following. And then
Wait.
Yes.
I'm sorry. My mind stopped thinking of what you were saying. Say what you just said again.
Okay, what I'm saying is we started rather late in the design process.
Right, last year.
Last fiscal year.
Okay.
So we're going to finish the design this fiscal year.
It's going to take another year to design it?
No, they started almost, I think, about maybe 2 months ago. So they should be finishing probably the early part of next year with the design. But the thing is, you need a design to bid it out. So we can't, even though if they finish it, we just can't go ahead and start construction because we need a design to then budget for the construction. It's a new program that we are starting, so there's a little bit of growing pains at this time, but it's a program that we are going to continue to implement. So it's going to pick up. Okay, it's going to pick up, and you should be seeing some improvements in the median, in the high visibility areas at least of the county.
Okay, so in the spirit of full transparency on budgeting, we budgeted $1 million in the last year's budget for the landscape. Did we add an additional million? And is this every year we're adding some money to that budget? Is that how that works?
So typically, if it's in a capital fund, it will carry forward, so the funds would be available for immediate use. So let me go with the budget people, we'll talk with Brantford's team, and we'll find out exactly where that's at, and we'll give you guys a written report back.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I think design was a couple $100,000 is what they were looking at.
How much?
It was a couple $100,000. There was an agenda item. We'll pull everything together for you so you can see that for transparency, and we'll let you know what the schedule is and what our area is.
I have brought this subject up since I was elected, when they went to widen Ridge Road, not the Ridge Road extension, I think because I was on the LPA when this came through. We paid $75,000 to a landscape architect to design the landscaping for Ridge Road. And then we got into a lawsuit with the contractor. And so that landscaping and all the money that we put aside for landscaping, they said, we're gonna set it aside until the lawsuit is over. Whatever happened to all that?
That is underway. I believe actually it
Oh,
goes to
really?
bid. Yes, the design is underway. That I know. We'll have to check again. I don't
So
have
we did the design, I thought we did.
You
the
have to
design.
you'll have to re-up design. I mean, that lawsuit took a long time. So there is money in the budget, I know, to go forward in construction on that, on that segment of Ridge Road. I remember talking with Tracy about that
That was like
several
12
months
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Were you here then?
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Okay, I'm done.
We're adjourned. Thank you. We're adjourned. Thank you.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
exaggeration.
Oh, my God.
Thank goodness.
Waterways and wildlife depend on you to keep them healthy. Excess fertilizer, grass clippings, trash, oils, and pet waste wash into gutters and storm drains when it rains. Stormwater carries these pollutants directly into our lakes and rivers, creating an unhealthy environment for fish, waterfowl, and other aquatic animals. Storm drains are meant for clean rainwater. Most other discharges are illegal. If you suspect an illicit discharge, please contact Pasco County Department of Public Works at 727-834-3611.
They've helped me keep my home, raising my two grandboys. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't, I don't know where we would be.
Purpose of Human Services is to see how we can best meet the needs of the Pasco County citizens. There are various needs, housing, food, medical needs, and various things, mental health. At both offices, we have 4 core programs. One is the EHEAP program, which is the Emergency Home Energy Assistance Program, and we help with past due electric bills for that. In addition, we have something called the Cremation Burial Service. We can help indigent families in Pasco County bury their loved one if they're not able to afford cremation and burial. We have a program called HICRA. So if someone from Pasco County has emergency services provided to them outside of the county, we can help assist them in paying for those bills. We also have something called a roundup, so we could help pay for past due water bills.
To come here when they have the funding, they will do everything in their power to help you.
If we don't have the funding or the ability to help them, we try to connect them with agencies around the county that can help them with whatever they need.
But we're a group of 10, very friendly, helpful, willing to support our citizens as best we can. We're very resourceful. So if you want to reach us, you can go to mypasco.net. You can also call the offices or stop in.
We're happy to help. We want you to come and, see us.
At any given time, 4.8 million people are being sexually exploited across the globe.
Men, women, and children of all ages, races, and ethnicities are exploited for profit.
Women and girls are disproportionately affected, accounting for 99% of the victims in the commercial sex industry.
Over 300,000 of America's youth are at risk of sexual exploitation each year.
The U.S. is one of the largest consumers of human trafficking victims worldwide. When it comes to sex trafficking, consumption means the purchase of sex.
This is a problem that we face right here in Pasco County.
When you buy sex, you are contributing to the trafficking of men, women, and children right here in Pasco County.
It comes down to supply and demand. There's simply more people trying to buy sex than there are those people willing to sell their bodies. Thus, the opportunity for human trafficking to occur.
Do you think people enjoy being bought and sold, that they want to perform sex acts with strangers?
When it comes to buying sex, we want to make sure the word is out there that Pasco doesn't buy it. Every law enforcement agency in Pasco County, including the Pasco Sheriff's Office,
the Newport Richey Police Department,
the Zephyr Hills Police Department,
the Dade City Police Department,
and the Port Richey Police Department.
We are working together to arrest and help to prosecute sex buyers.
Would you like for your spouse to find out that you're paying for sex?
Would you like your kids or their friends to find out? Or your mother?
Do you want your boss, your coworkers, or your clients to find out that you are buying sex?
How would you like to have a criminal record? Buying sex is punishable with jail time and up to a $5,000 fine.
We use state-of-the-art technology.
We have highly trained, experienced officers.
We are leveraging detailed intelligence and monitoring the online platforms that sex buyers use.
All of law enforcement is working together. If you're a sex buyer in Pasco County, we will find you.
Don't buy sex. If you do, you will be arrested.
A code enforcement officer calls for help, and the GPS locator instantly tracks his location.
Central Permitting connects 3 offices countywide via video conferencing, saving valuable time and resources.
How long will your wait be at Pasco Central Permitting in Newport Richey? Find out at a glance with our real-time permitting wait times feature. Planning and Development interacts with nearly 10,000 people using a unique social media charrette.
Building inspectors have performed nearly 100 virtual video inspections without having to leave their office.
Instant customer feedback. With more than 1,000 Q-Matic customer responses in 6 months, Central Permitting improves processes and empowers staff. Check out Project Pipeline. More than 8,000 people already have. Planning and Development is using Smart Sheets so you can track projects in real time, increasing transparency and boosting customer satisfaction.
With more than 13,000 registered users, Acela allows building construction services to schedule about 600 inspections a day and create an average of 90 permits daily. Calculating impact fees is easier than ever. 1,000 people have already tried out our new automatic calculator.
Detailed discussions with customers now have a unique visual feel. In the past 6 months alone, Planning and Development has rolled out smart boards in almost 200 pre-application meetings. We're taking some of the danger out of on-site inspections, as building inspectors use drones to collect data from dangerous places.
You can read a story. You can go for a walk. So why not combine both? Welcome to our Story Walk. Here at J.B. Starkey Wilderness Park, we have installed a new story in our Story Walk. Check out this new seasonal themed title, The Very Last Leaf, by Steph Wade and illustrated by Jennifer Davison, where you'll learn about Lance, the cottonwood leaf, and how he must face his fear of falling with the change of the seasons. The Story Walk consists of 18 reading stations positioned along a 0.2-mile loop. Along the way, you'll also learn some fun facts about the changing colors of leaves. The outdoor reading experience allows children, families, and people of all ages to read a story while walking along a nature trail. Head to the back left trail of the playground area, follow the purple trailblazes, and you'll be on your way. A special thank you to all who partnered with libraries to make this project possible: Pasco County Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources, the Friends of the Pasco County Library System, and AmeriCorps.
If you qualify as a special needs client, your emergency Go Kit should include everything you need to maintain your care regimen and optimal health. This includes all your medications. Once a disaster is declared, Floridians may obtain an extra prescription refill even if you have recently filled it. That's important since you should bring 10 days of medications to the